Let's get it, 580 Sports Talk, coming to you live and direct on a Wednesday afternoon in the capital city. 3 hours of sports talk from now until 6 p.m. on the Sports Voice of Kansas this afternoon. 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com. And as always, streaming live on video on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and on our Facebook page, WIBW News. Happy hump day to all. Thanks for being here. We're so glad you're joining us for 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Brendan Dworzinski, Spencer Dupuis will be along in a bit. 3 jam-packed hours today. Happy NFL Draft Eve to those who observe. Our mock draft reveal coming in the 4 o'clock hour. All three of us have once again done our own mock drafts. And we will see. We'll, of course, have a competition Thursday night. We will see whose mock is not to be mocked, is the least mockable, or the most mockable. Do you want to be, depending on the definition of the word?
I think everyone should want to mock my mock draft because I went 32 for 32.
Did you?
Yes, Roger Goodell made the call.
Spoiler alert.
He reached out and said, yes, this is how all 32 are going to go. I have a copy of the script. It is in a PDF on my phone right now.
So I guess that means spoiler alert. For
we can still pretend you guys are right, too.
For 4 o'clock when we do our mock drafts.
How juicy is yours? Do you get real wild with it?
I don't think it's real wild. There are some Easter eggs in there.
I have one pretty spicy top 10 pick. One that's got some real kick to it, some real zing.
All three of us, myself, Brendan, Spencer, we have done our mock drafts in the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to run those down. Also, coming up later in the show, we're going to do some Chiefs draft scenarios. I have a half dozen scraps of paper. They're not on my person right now, but between the 4 and the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to draw some scraps of paper with draft scenarios on them, and we're going to react to them as though those were the picks or the decisions that the Chiefs made tomorrow night when they are scheduled to pick 31st in the 2025 NFL Draft's first round. So plenty of draft content on today's show today. We're excited about that. We're really excited for our NFL Draft Stravaganza live on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News, coming up tomorrow night, 9 p.m. sharp. Be there or be square. All three of us and some special guests as well will be with you, reacting to what has already happened, what will be happening, and what the Chiefs do with their first-round pick tomorrow night during the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Again, a YouTube and Facebook exclusive, a video exclusive, the NFL Draft Stravaganza, coming your way live from our respective, well, I would say basements, but Spencer's apartment, townhome living, he doesn't have a basement. So our respective rec rooms, I guess.
Yes. Does he not have a basement? I don't know. I didn't ask. I don't know what his new setup is. I only know the one from his old digs.
Yeah, we'd have to ask him.
I will be in the basement because my wife and child will be asleep upstairs. So I will be in the basement.
Same reason. I always film my stuff from the basement. Any longtime viewer of the 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel will recognize my wall art immediately.
No, this is going to be fun. We've got some, as Dan mentioned, some friends who are going to join us, some experts and some probably not so much experts who are going to be stopping by the show. We'll get you, it'll be a couple hours worth of stuff to react to. Obviously, the Chiefs pick when that gets in. Possibly all three of our respective favorite teams, Seahawks, Commanders, Packers, will be picking at some point during the live show as well. We want to hear from you guys. Any fun reactions you guys have as well. So if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, we tell you every single day that you should go do it. If you have not done it yet, there's literally never been a better time than right now so that you know exactly where to go for the Draft Stravaganza tomorrow. Just go to youtube.com. You just type into the search bar, 580 Sports Talk. It is so easy. We're the top result. Subscribe to the channel, and then you'll see when you go to youtube.com at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, you will see right there 580 Sports Talk live Draft Stravaganza.
That's all there is to it. It's just that simple. So, yeah, we are looking forward to having you along with us tomorrow night for the NFL Draft Stravaganza. Lots of stuff to talk about football-wise. We will talk some baseball as the Royals defeated the Rockies in Game 1 of their 3-game series last night in one of the baseball games of all time. of all of the baseball games ever played, that sure was one of them. It was a very normal pitcher's duel for 8 innings. And then it got weird and dumb and hard to watch. And the Royals win it. Walk-off single by Freddie Fermin in the 11th. And while I do not believe in the must-win game, that was a must-not-lose game for the Royals, especially with a win probability of 99%, with 2 on and nobody out and a 2-run lead in the 9th against the worst offense in baseball. That is what you call a cannot lose scenario. And the Royals very nearly did. But in the end, they didn't. And it goes in the win column 4-3 in 11 innings. We'll break all that down, including one Royal who is trying to make the most out of what really might be his last chance in the major leagues. Drew Waters, one of the offensive heroes last night. We'll talk about him a little bit as well. It's a Wednesday, so Tim Fitzgerald will join us at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour for the Wildcat Wrap-up. We'll get Fitz's thoughts on what's happening at K-State spring practice. Their media availability, I think, is just wrapping up today, so we'll have some fresh info from Fitz based on what he heard after the open practice today. Talk a little bit about basketball transfer portal stuff as well with Tim Fitzgerald. That's coming up, again, at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Fitz, our buddy from GoPowerCat.com. Plus all the other things you've come to expect from a Wednesday edition of the show. It's a very slow news day, but we will have some sports headlines along with a playoff roundup. We'll do what is wrong with you in the 4 o'clock hour. One got to go later on this hour. And your interactions with the programs today on our text line, which is open, 785-272-9429, 785-272-9429. You can also hit us up. If you are watching the show on YouTube today, jump on into the chat. There is a chat feature on the web browser and in the mobile app. And if you are signed into YouTube, you can interact under your real name or a pseudonym and interact with us and your fellow listeners throughout the show. Hello to Ryan, Christopher, Paul, Mark H., Trevor's in, Jason is in. And we appreciate those of you tuning in early, those of you who will tune in later on, those of you who will tune in maybe later tonight. Catch the whole thing archived on our 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel. Just thanks for being a part. And we appreciate all of you. We appreciate hearing from you throughout the show today. Craig Brown, friend of the program, Royals Authority, does his own, I think, Substack or Royals writing independently now. Craig Brown on social media last night said that last night's baseball game, Royals game, made him hate baseball a little bit. That's a direct quote. And this is proof positive that exposure to Colorado Rockies baseball is harmful for your health and may, in fact, impact how much you like the sport of baseball yourself. It is why I have done my best to limit my exposure to it in recent years, although in-person exposure is coming on Thursday. So we'll see what I would say what the CDC recommends, but the CDC essentially doesn't exist anymore. So never mind on that. It was not a fundamentally sound baseball game in the late stages. Let's say that. You could certainly give the pitchers, the starting pitchers, credit where it was due. Chris Bubich and Ryan Feltner were both really sharp. Drew Waters breaking a scoreless tie with a solo home run in the 6th. Looked for a long time like that would be the only run, but the Royals would push one across in the 8th after a Waters triple and a perfectly executed safety squeeze from Kyle Isbell. Perfect bunt. Waters didn't even get a great jump, but it was a perfect bunt, and Waters scored, and it's 2-0, and the first two go quietly for the Rockies in the top of the 9th. But then Royals fans experienced their first Carlos Estevez experience. What I can tell you from my own lived experience is that if Carlos Estevez is your closer, that means that Carlos Estevez is your closer. And you take the good and you take the bad. And last night it was not good because he just lost the strike zone against the middle of the Colorado order inexplicably with 2 on or 2 out and nobody on. And if you want to give Ryan McMahon and especially Hunter Goodman fouled off some tough pitches and drew the walk following McMahon's walk to make it 2 on with 2 out. You want to give those guys credit for some tough at-bats. Okay, fine. Michael Toglia is the National League's leader, and I believe the Major League leader in strikeouts as a hitter.
You are correct.
And Carlos Estevez threw him 3 straight sliders that were nowhere close to the strike zone and ended up walking him. Dude, challenge that guy to make contact. He can't. Challenge him. Throw a strike. Come at him with your fastball. The fastball's still the best pitch. Go after him. He wouldn't go after him. He threw 3 terrible sliders. All of a sudden, he decided in the middle of the inning, actually, my slider's my best pitch. I have been watching Carlos Estevez since he broke into the major leagues in 2016, and never, not once, has his slider been his best pitch. Not at any point in his baseball career has he been a slider guy. He gets people out with his fastball, and he forgot it in the middle of the innings. And if he needed a reminder, it came too late because he hung one with 2 strikes to Jacob Stallings, who was 4 for 31 on the season before he laced a 3-run double down the left field line to give the Rockies the lead. I hardly reacted. I was watching at home on the couch, and you would think, oh, yeah, at least Dan enjoyed. You probably didn't. You weren't thinking about me watching that game last night. Maybe you were. I don't know. But if you thought to yourself, well, hey, at least Dan enjoyed that, I got to be honest. I don't feel anything about Jacob Stallings. He's just a guy. He's roster filler on a team that is schedule filler. And that's all I feel about the Rockies right now, to be completely honest with you.
That's very depressing.
It is so depressing. They've been my favorite sports team since I was 6 years old. And I have no emotion about like 20 of their 26 guys on the roster. Anywho, Rockies take the lead after having a 1% win probability, and the game is lost. Except Salvador Perez dinks one into right. The funniest words in the English language, funniest possible collection of words in the English language. Pinch runner Freddie Fermin advances to third on Maikel Garcia's double. Michael Massey hits one just deep enough to left field to tie the ball game, and the winning run is at second base. And this is where I'm going to defend the decision-making, not all of it, but some of it, from Maikel Garcia. I don't hate trying to take third base there. Number one, standing around and waiting for a hit with runners in scoring position, if you're the 2025 Kansas City Royals, is a really good way not to get any runs home. Like scoring from second, yeah, you could score from second on a single. It's the bottom of the order. These guys have struggled all season long. You want to try to make something happen. You also maybe look to do that against the Rockies' backup catcher who just been inserted into the game at that point. Braxton Fulford is playing in his 3rd major league game. In his first major league game on Saturday against the Nationals, he made not 1, not 2, 3 throwing errors in that game. You better believe that's on the scouting report. So, okay, make Braxton Fulford make a good throw to get you out at third. Make him make a throw to get you out at third. Don't get picked off of second base. Maikel Garcia was 37 of 39 stealing bases last year, and he is running the bases like a total doofus right now, all season long. You had the stat, what was it, earlier this week or late last week, that he's been the worst base runner?
Yes, according to StatCast and their metrics and measurements, which, you know, how big of a lead do you get? Where is the ball hit? When do you take off? Your sprint speed? How do you slide? All that. They have all of that data at every major league ballpark. And when you take everything into consideration, Maikel Garcia this season, at least entering yesterday, and I imagine still today, is the single worst or least valuable base runner in the majors this season. There are a lot of major league players.
And I'll bet that didn't help. Getting picked off as the winning run.
You know what? He's moved up a spot. He is now 2nd percentile. He is moved up. He is no longer worst in the league.
Hey, good for him. Somehow.
Who is worse?
Yeah.
I must know.
So Garcia runs his way out of being the winning run, and we go to extra innings. John Schreiber walks 2 in extra innings, but it doesn't hurt because Mickey Moniak makes an even bigger base running mistake, an even more inexcusable base running mistake, and gets picked off of third as the go-ahead run. And it wasn't even close. It wasn't like Freddie Fermin, and he did make a great throw, but it wasn't like Fermin made a perfect throw and the tag was perfect and got him by an inch. That man was a full body length or 2 away from the base when Maikel Garcia got the tag down at third base. Utterly inexcusable, the kind of thing that 4-18 baseball teams do. So Schreiber's able to work around his command issues, and nobody scores in the top of the 10th. But then the Royals can't even get their fake runner over to third. They can't get him. They can't move him up. And this is where I will again defend the process. Drew Waters was 3 for 3. I don't mind having him swing away. I don't mind the thought process. You're also giving him a chance to hit for the cycle, which would be very funny if Drew Waters is the guy that breaks the decades-long streak that the Royals are working on without a cycle. I think George Brett's the last one.
You are correct about that.
So it's been decades, and it would have been very funny if Drew Waters, of all people, were the guy to break that. So I understand giving him a chance to swing the bat, nobody out, winning run at second base. He's been your best bat all night, but he strikes out, and the Royals can't move the fake runner over. So we go to the 11th, where Daniel Lynch walks the leadoff man. Chris Bubich and Lucas Erceg didn't walk anybody in 8 innings. And
no, they were nails.
And that's pretty par for the course against a Rockies lineup that does a lot of swinging and missing, a lot of swinging, period, and doesn't draw a lot of walks. Estevez, Schreiber, and Lynch walked 6 guys in 3 innings. But never fear. The thing about playing a 4-18 baseball team is this. They will always screw up more than you do. Hunter Goodman watched an 87-mile-an-hour changeup right down the center of the plate for strike 3.
Can I say it? More like Hunter Badman.
Yeah. Like what are you looking for? What do you want? What do you want on a 3-2 pitch? The floater right over the middle of the plate. Please throw that to me. I will hit it into the bullpen, or I'll just not swing and take a right turn and go back to the third base dugout. So Goodman stares the changeup for the 3-2 count. That's out number 1. Rockies go quietly. And then Freddie Fermin, who, like many of his teammates, has struggled to get it going, to put it mildly, at the plate all season, singles into center field to drive in the winning run. And his postgame quote, I didn't see this until this morning, but this goes so hard. He said, and Ann Rodgers has this for MLB.com, you never know when you're going to play, Fermin said. When you hear Freddie, you got to be ready.
Unbelievable. That's really good.
I would put that on a shirt, and I would give that away on a weekday this year if I were the Royals. Freddie Fermin catchphrase T-shirt night.
I'd wear it.
I would too. I would absolutely wear when you hear Freddie, you got to be ready.
We need him to get on a hot streak. Like, we need this to be the start of like a 12-game hitting streak or like 4 homers the next 5 games. Then you put that on a shirt. You rush deliver that.
When he was an above average hitter for like 5 of the 6 months last year, I wish we would have had that. Then we would all have the shirt already. So when you hear Freddie, you got to be ready. So defensively and offensively, Freddie Fermin, huge plays last night to bail out the Royals. Again, I do not think that there are must-win games in sports. I don't. I think you only have to win when you face playoff elimination, either in the regular season or in the playoffs. Those are the only games you have to win. Everything else, if the math stands up, you still have time to get one back, you can go get it back. It's not must-win. I think we overuse that particular term, and I will never hear it said about an April baseball game. There's just no such thing. But if you have a 99% win probability at any point in a baseball game or any sporting event, those become must-not-lose games. The Royals almost did, but almost doesn't count. And not only do they win the game, they have fun doing it. I think that a 2-0 win last night, like let's say Estevez gets Ryan McMahon to roll over on one to Michael Massey, and the Royals win that game 2-0. And like it feels good. Obviously, you start your homestand with a win, and you got back-to-back wins after that tough week you had the week before. But you're still having to answer questions about the offense after the game. All the questions are about, boy, you couldn't hit Ryan Feltner. What was up with that? Feltner pitched well. Tip your cap. But you still got to deal with all those questions. You still got to deal with, Drew Waters was the only guy that had a hit through the game's first 8 innings or whatever it was. He had their first 2 hits. Those are the things that you have to deal with in the aftermath of a win. But winning 4-3, all of a sudden, the vibes are high. You get to do the Salvi splash on Freddie Fermin. He's dropping bars in his post-game press conference remarks. The vibes levels increase anytime you win in walk-off fashion. I think it could be a stepping stone for the Royals. I really do. Even though, once again, they were pretty futile offensively, I think a feel-good win to start the homestand is probably a good thing in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to win than to lose, obviously. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and glow too much about that game. That was awful, man. I mean, that's one of the crappiest played baseball games in recent memory. It stunk, but there is something to be said for finding a way to win. And even the Royals lost to the White Sox one game last year. All we talked about how much they dominated Chicago. They did lose a game to the White Sox last season. Like, those things happen sometimes. In recent years, you know this relatively well, San Diego Padres have been really good the last couple of years. You know who they've struggled with as much as anybody in baseball? The Rockies.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you lose to crappy teams, and the Royals are not so good that you would look at a loss to the Rockies, like, from the outside looking in and say, wow, like, what a horrible, like, what a complete disaster. What a total nightmare. But still, you had to win that game. And if you're the Royals, given the way the start of this year has gone, now still 4 games under 500 through your first 24, you kind of had to get a win. Trevor on YouTube said, that's the worst I've ever felt about a win. I won't go that far because, like, no one got hurt. Like, because there are wins where, like, yeah, we won, but our starting pitcher, like, tore his UCL, and our star infielder crashed into the barricade and he's going to be on the IL. Like, I don't feel bad in that regard, but it was a terribly played game. The hope now, optimistically, is, all right, we saw one go in. Like, we've been... Jock Peterson right now is 0 for 41 for the Texas Rangers. He is hitless. He is 0 for 41. When he eventually gets a hit, and at some point he will get a base hit, the thought process is what? Okay, he saw it. Like, he saw one of those get hit. Klay Thompson, when he last year went 0 for 10 against the Kings in an NBA playoff play-in game, the next season came around, the start of this year, and he did eventually make a 3 for the Dallas Mavericks. And he thought, okay, we're going to pick it up a little bit from this point. That's the hope here for the Royals is, wow, that game sucked. You probably should have lost, but you didn't. So now let's build on that. Let's play with a little confidence. You're at home. This team stinks. Your rotation is way better than their rotation. Let's build on this a little bit. We might not feel good after Thursday, but who cares what it looks like if you just picked up 3 straight wins?
Well, let me flip it. I think that you can argue, you can look at this and say, look, we got another gem from Chris Bubich. Didn't hit his over.
He was really good.
Hit his over on strikeouts. And only 6.
Yeah, the Bill's in the mail, pal.
Yeah, a lot of early swings. The Rockies are a different offensive team under their new hitting coach, Royal Great SI cover boy Clint Hurdle. That was a big part of the broadcast last night. I always forget that, like, there is so much overlap historically between the Royals and the Rockies. Like, not just a lot of, like, players have worn both uniforms, but a lot of key figures in Rockies history have ties to the Royals. Like, the majority, I think, of the managers in Rockies history have ties to the Royals.
That is pretty funny.
Well, let me think on this. Not Don Baylor to my knowledge, not Jim Leland to my knowledge, but Buddy Bell managed both teams. Clint Hurdle obviously played for the Royals, Bud Black, and then the only other manager is Walt Weiss. So yeah, 3 of the 6. It's not quite the majority. But half the managers in Rockies history have Royals ties. Anyway, neither here nor there. You can look at this game from the Royals' perspective and say Bubich was really good, continues to solidify himself. His last start, the command wasn't great. He dialed it back in, didn't walk anybody for 7 great innings. Lucas Erceg back after that scary injury Friday night, back on the mound, looked great. And then offensively, look, that 3-run double by Jacob Stallings, that could have been a haymaker blow. That could have left the Royals flat on their backs on the canvas. They picked themselves up, and Salvi dinks one in. Garcia hits the double. Massey with the sac fly down in the count. He was down to count 2 strikes. And you get the game tied, and you give yourself a chance. There's some credit there for that. I mean, was the Esteves' 9th inning gross? Absolutely. Was Michael Garcia's base running blunder inexcusable? You bet. But they showed a little life. They showed a little resilience. They found a way to win and have a little fun doing it. And I do think that can be the kind of thing that loosens up a clubhouse that's understandably a little tight after a start that has fallen short of expectations. We'll take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, Drew Waters was a hitting star last night. Is he making the most out of what might be his last chance with the big club? We'll talk about it next on 580 Sports Talk. .334 on 580 Sports Talk. We're just getting underway on this Wednesday afternoon. Stay tuned, 4 o'clock, top of the hour, our mock draft reveals. Myself, Brendan, Spencer, submit our mock drafts for your approval / derision and for our yearly contest. I think Spencer won last year. Do I have that right? Do I remember that correctly?
I don't recall. I believe so. I'm getting signal from a different booth in the studio that yes, indeed, that is what happened.
Okay, I'll take the anonymous commenter's word for it. We'll do another contest this year. Right team, right pick is 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Right team, wrong pick is 1 point. So, like if there's a trade up or a trade down, but the team still gets the player you have them mocked to. Right pick, wrong team is also 1 point.
Yes.
So you have a player.
That's the funniest one.
Yes.
That's the funniest point
like,
you can get.
Know that player is the 22nd pick in the draft. Didn't know what uniform he was going to be in. Just knew he was the 22nd pick
there
in
at 22.
The so that's coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. We're looking forward to that. Drew Waters, 3 for 4 with a homer, a triple, and a single. Finished a #double shy of the cycle last night for the Royals. Had a chance at it, but struck out in the 10th. Right now, he looks like Ted Williams compared to the rest of the Royals outfield. The Royals, of course, have gotten next to no production from their outfielders so far this year. So Waters all of a sudden up to a 769 OPS after last night. 3
Nice.
extra base hits out of 9 of his hits in 33 at-bats. The average up to 273, the slug up to 455. And this is like the best case scenario version of Drew Waters, where you have a little bit of the pop and you have a little bit, he's got a stolen base, a little bit of the speed, and you have some defensive utility because he can play all 3 outfield positions. He's not likely to win you a Gold Glove in any of them, but he can hold his own and cover some ground in that expansive Kauffman Stadium outfield. Good for you, Drew Waters. This is an opportunity you're getting because MJ Melendez has squandered his. MJ debuted with Omaha last night. First AAA game. 1 for 6, 3 strikeouts.
Remember when you asked what would it take to feel good about MJ coming back up?
Not that.
Not 1 for 6 with 3 Ks. 6 at-bats is a lot.
Well, Pacific Coast League.
Yeah.
So that's good stuff for Drew Waters. Unfortunately, I did some digging on the underlying numbers, and Drew Waters has struck out 13 times in 35 plate appearances. That's extremely bad. And there's not a lot in the way of like exit velocity, launch angle. Like you go and you look at a baseball savant page, you're looking for red. Red means above average. Blue means below. And there's a lot of blue on his page. He's not got enough at bats to qualify yet, so it's faded blue, but it's blue all the same. I don't know that we're seeing a new Drew Waters. I would love for that to be the case. He's 26 years old. I love a post-hype prospect breakout, and the Royals are dying for one. But I don't know that we're going to see a whole lot more of that from Drew Waters unless he starts putting the ball in play more frequently, because he can hit the ball hard. He does have a little bit of home run power. He's flashed that in the minor leagues throughout his minor league career. But the strikeouts are my concern. This is my concern, dude. That's too many strikeouts.
So Drew Waters made his major league debut in 2022. He has never batted enough. He's in his whole career, he's never had enough plate appearances to qualify. Since 2022, his strikeout rate, 36.7, 31.8, 31.6, a career best last year, and then 37.1 this year. Like, I mean, it's the Nick Prado thing, right? Like, at some point, you're gonna strike out too many times, and that Prado got DFA'd, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he's still, or maybe he came back with a AAA contract, but either way, like at some point,
he was DFA'd. He's not on the 40-man, but I do believe he's in Omaha. Yeah.
Like at some point, you're just not able to hit the ball enough to be a regular contributor at this level.
Yeah, Prado's in Omaha hitting a crisp 205 through 51 plate appearances.
He was ranked ahead of Vinny for a long time.
The first round pick?
Yeah.
Like a top 10 pick.
I know Vinny ain't great shakes right now either, but yeah, the Dayton Moore era, the latter stages of it, not great. Not a great way to run a baseball team.
It was crushing the ball and getting on base at a 5.11 clip so far. Nick Lofton.
Yeah, he gets on base like crazy.
Yeah, he's like Barry Bonds. He's walked 25 times in 94 AAA plate appearances. Listen,
I mean, look,
for a team that like resolutely doesn't do that, for me, that's next man up. For me, that's the guy who
can he play right?
Yeah, when you run out of patience for Hunter Renfroe, which come on,
a week ago,
the train's coming. Nick Lofton ought to be the next guy to get a look. Yeah.
Our guy, I gotta pull this up. So you were mentioning, I think yesterday we had somebody who said not very fair to compare Hunter Renfroe to Hunter Dozier.
Yeah.
So our guy Fulton Caster, Royals diehard to say the least,
old pal.
He tweeted this last night. Hunter Dozier in 29 games before being DFA'd in 2023 slashed 183, 253, 305. 2 homers, OPS plus of 52. As of this tweet, Hunter Renfroe, 43 points lower batting average, 21 points lower on base percentage, 145 points lower in slugging percentage, 0 home runs, an OPS plus of a whopping 16.
But he's so good with the glove.
And again, if you do not remember what OPS plus means, maybe you got a little rusty over the offseason, 100 is league average, and it's a percentage. So having an OPS plus of 16 means you are 84% less productive than the average Major League Baseball player. Granted, small sample size, but Nick Lofton, can you play the outfield?
Meanwhile, at AA Northwest Arkansas last night, as Tyler points out in the YouTube comments,
Ooh, buddy.
Jack Caglione doubled off of Clayton Kershaw. He went 2 for 2 off of Clayton Kershaw last night. Kershaw, the Hall of Famer, getting a rehab start at AA last night, his first rehab start of the year. And Cags went 2 for 2.
Dude can mash.
The A's have called up their first-round pick from last year. The gentleman is named Nick Kurtz.
Enunciate.
Yes. Nick Kurtz is his name.
Look, good for the A's, man. Get people excited. Get that Sacramento crowd out there.
So,
yeah, I mean, at this rate, he's going to make an appearance this year.
He's checking all the boxes.
Yep.
Checking all the boxes. I wouldn't call him up today or tomorrow, but he is checking the boxes for what you would need to see him in the show sooner rather than later. We'll take a quick timeout.
Hey,
Wait,
real quick, by the way.
Go for it.
If you Google Clayton Kershaw right now, because I did, the first result under top stories is Caglione meets Kershaw. The outcome, 2 hits for top Royals prospect.
Hey, man.
He is the talk of the minors, folks.
Yeah, but buzz is real. The buzz is real. We'll take a break. We'll come back with a little one gotta go next as we continue on this Wednesday edition of 580 Sports Talk. One got to go time on 580 Sports Talk. Do you have one that is sports related or non-sports related, Brendan?
I've got an NFL draft related one.
All right, let's start with that one, and then we'll do something frivolous.
All right. Of the positions that the Chiefs don't really need, one's got to go. One is truly egregious, okay? So we're going to go tight end. We're talking first round here.
First round.
Tight end, wide receiver, safety, linebacker. Which would be the most egregious for whatever reason you choose?
So I think there's value at safety and wide receiver late in round one. Like the potential for like a Luther Burden to still be there at 31, or what's the kid's name from South Carolina? I'm not going to pronounce it right.
Imawari.
Yeah, or Malachi Starks could still be there at 31. Like I think those are starting caliber NFL safeties, and the Chiefs saw good value plus value there. Like, yeah, you could convince me. So that sets us up. Tight end and linebacker. Yeah, I don't know that the tight end value is there late in the draft. Even linebacker, like you could maybe convince me that there was a linebacker worth taking at 31. I just don't think, unless for some reason Colston Loveland sinks like a stone, and he's not going to. I think both him and Tyler Warren are going top 15. Spoiler alert for our draft recaps here in a little bit.
Yeah, I like the top two tight ends. I think there is a gigantic drop-off, frankly, between the top two and Mason Taylor, the consensus third tight end. That's, I think, what would be the worst. I like Jihad Campbell, the linebacker from Alabama.
Yeah.
A lot of folks think he could go top 20. The problem is he's got apparently some pretty nasty medicals. So we'll see where we all have him end up going. A lot of people like him at 19 to Tampa Bay. They need a linebacker. If he was there at 31, I would at least have him on the board. Like I think he's a really good player.
Yeah.
The medicals are concerning, though. But yeah, tight end would be bad. Bad.
Texter from the 785 agrees. It's tight end for one. Got to go. You can play along in the YouTube live chat or hit us up on the text line 785-272-9429. All right. A little bit more frivolous.
Okay.
The classic PC games that come with your used to be your PC or your tower. Now it's just your laptop, your Dell, your HP, or whatever you got. Your classic PC games: Minesweeper, Solitaire, Hearts, Pinball. One's got to go.
Solitaire.
You're out on Solitaire.
I'm out on Solitaire. I used to play Hearts a ton as a kid. The problem was I didn't really know what I was doing, but I played it a lot. The pinball game is like video game Hall of Fame good, and I'm not giving up Minesweeper.
Yeah, no, you're a big Minesweeper.
I'm a big Minesweeper guy, so no, I'm out on Solitaire. I still don't really. I've played Hearts like with cards. I still don't really know what I'm doing, but I would still rather keep that.
So sort of like Spades.
Yeah.
Right. Like Spades is a little different, but yeah, I did too. When I was like a kid, I was like, ooh, here's a game, Hearts. What am I supposed to do? I didn't understand. And then I would always try to shoot the moon. I would try to win all I would always try to win all the hearts and get the Queen of Spades and shoot the moon and win that way. But no, so I would say Hearts, because that is more so like that's a game you're playing against AI.
Yeah.
Where the other ones are solitary pursuits.
That's true. That's a good point.
For one of them, it's in the name, Solitaire.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. Like, I could play Solitaire. Like, I could lose hours to Solitaire. I have Solitaire on my phone.
How do you feel about Spider Solitaire? My mom is a Spider Solitaire.
Yeah, my mom also loves Spider Solitaire. Oddly enough, no, I am a no on Spider Solitaire.
Yeah,
I've never been able to get a strategy down for that one.
Did you ever have the like top 40 best Windows 95 games CD? Like it had Sphere Zhong on it and a pixelated horse racing game.
No.
Oh man, we had that when I was a kid. That was a banger.
So the pinball game, a texture from 785 says Space Cadet Pinball is goated.
Fact.
Hard to disagree. Yeah, that was one, like, when I was a kid, that wasn't a game that came with computers. That was more, first time I encountered that one was when I bought my first laptop when I went to college. That was where I saw that for the first time. I played the hell out of Space Cadet Pinball. Did you know, remember those like emulators? I'm sure you can still download these on your PC or your whatever, that like they allow you to play like old Nintendo and Sega games.
Yes. That's how I got through a class in college, playing with my horrifically boring professor. Sorry, Professor Johnson. I played Pokemon Crystal on my computer every single day.
RBI baseball got me through a lot of road trips.
Oh, that's
A
fun.
lot of bus trips. So I did, but there was a Motley Crue pinball game that came out for like Nintendo, Crew Ball, and it just played Dr. Feelgood in the background, and it was essentially Space Cadet pinball, but with a MIDI version of Dr. Feelgood in the background.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was so good. It was so good. So yeah, I like the pinball. Sometimes that can be a little tough on your wrists. Like if I can only choose one, I'm going solitaire because it's at least arduous. And I can just play it for hours. You're Minesweeper. Though,
yeah, I'm playing Minesweeper.
Another text from 785 says Minesweeper's got to go.
Come on. Let's refine our tastes a little bit here, people.
Vance in the YouTube comments with us though says get hearts out of here. I enjoy hearts. I I had a spades game on my phone for a long time that I played. And
oh, okay. So this was not on the phone, but probably the electronic toy that got more run when I was a kid than anything else between my sisters and I, handheld Connect 4.
Ooh.
That I bet it is still in the Dworzinski household somewhere. That one got a lot of work.
I had a handheld poker game, a 5-card draw poker.
So my uncle, may God rest his soul, what a guy. Shout out to Uncle Bob. He taught me when I was like 8 how to play poker and blackjack on the computer. He had just these CDs and he taught me how to play it. And my mother still to this day not happy that Uncle Bob taught me how to play poker online. But no, I'd play. There was a little feature where like you could order drinks and stuff in the game. Oh man, yeah, I wore out the blackjack CD.
Nice. We're gonna take a break.
8 years old.
That's one got to go. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back and get you set up for the 4 o'clock hour, including the mock draft reveal coming up in the 4 o'clock hour here on 580 Sports Talk. Wrapping up the 3 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk. We've got our mock drafts coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We have slaved over the PFF mock draft simulators, and we have all come out with our own 32-pick mock drafts. You're going to want to be on the YouTube stream for this one, 580 Sports Talk, to actually be able to read them and digest them. We'll go through them on the show, but this would be a good time to jump on the stream if you have not before or are not currently on the 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel or on Facebook, WIBW News, because we'll throw them up on the screen on our video stream and show you exactly who we each think is going to go at which specific pick in the NFL draft.
And don't forget to make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel or know where to find us on Facebook by the same token, so you can check us out for the NFL Draft Extravaganza tomorrow night.
That's right.
At 9 o'clock Central Daylight Time. We will be live from our respective abodes. Where's your new in-home setup, Spencer?
In the guest room.
The guest room. Okay, we were wondering.
I'm putting one of our additional televisions in there.
You go.
It's going to be Draft Central.
There
Love
we
it.
go.
Draft Central. Love it.
Our respective draft centrals join us tomorrow night, 9 p.m. for the NFL Draft Extravaganza on the 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel. Again, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Maybe you want to go see some Bulls tomorrow night at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. Brace yourself for nonstop adrenaline as PBR Knockout Kansas City. PBR teams Missouri versus the world showcases the toughest sport on dirt. The Kansas City Outlaws team up with the Missouri Thunder to take on 8 remaining teams going head-to-head for bragging rights. Feel the energy as the elite riders take on the rankest bulls in the world, battling for supremacy. I have a family 5-pack of tickets for PBR Knockout Kansas City tomorrow night at the T-Mobile Center. 5 tickets for caller number 3 to 785-272-9429. 785-272-9429. Caller 3 is going to PBR Knockout Kansas City. Come back for mock drafts on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk, hour number 2 on this Wednesday, NFL Draft Eve. So glad to be with you on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and live on YouTube at 580 Sports Talk, our channel, and on Facebook on our page, WIBW News. Gang's all here the rest of the way. Dan Lucero, Brendan Dworzinski, and Spencer Dupuis. We've got mock drafts coming up this hour. All three of us have done mock drafts, and we are going to reveal those here shortly. We'll also be joined by Tim Fitzgerald to GoPowerCat.com. At the bottom of this hour, Fitz joining us for the Wildcat Wrap-up, as he does every Wednesday on the show. Your text to the program, 785-272-9429. You can also interact with us if you are watching on YouTube. 580 Sports Talk, again, the name of the channel. You'll want to get on in, and it will let you look at the mock drafts, because we're going to throw them up on screen as a visual aid for those of you who are watching on YouTube. Again, the name of the channel is 580 Sports Talk. Do have some severe weather to pass along. Want to make sure that folks have this information as you listen this afternoon. The National Weather Service in Topeka has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for east central Potawatomi and southwestern Jackson counties until 4:30 p.m. At 4 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located over Emmett, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. Including quarter-size hail. Locations impacted include Potawatomi Reservation and Emmett. For your protection, if you were in those areas, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of the building. There is also a flash flood warning in effect for northeastern Jackson and southeastern Nemaha counties until 8 p.m. Central Time. Between 2 and 3.5 inches of rain have fallen in that area, and additional rainfall amounts of 1 to 3 inches are possible in the area. Some locations that will experience flash flooding include Holton, Circleville, and Netawaka. Turn around, don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles, so do be careful if you are in those locations. A severe thunderstorm warning until 4:30 for east central Potawatomi and southwestern Jackson counties, and a flash flood warning for northeastern Jackson and southeastern Nemaha counties until 8 p.m. All right, we ready to draft?
Let's do it.
Let's do
this thing. All right, I'll go first. We'll go first with my mock draft for 2025, and there's a lot that we feel like we know. There's still some news and notes out there that, well, maybe Cleveland can be talked into trading the number 2, or the Giants can be talked into trading down out of the number 3.
The new hotness is that the Bears are trying to move up from 10. That's the new hot rumor out there.
There's all kinds of rumors, all kinds of stuff out there. It's hard to separate the real from the fake. For the record, just before we start here, I should mention I did not include trades in my mock draft. We don't have rules to this. If you guys want to do trades, you're welcome to do trades, but I did not do any trades in my draft.
I did not do trades either. I don't like trades for mock.
I did not either.
Okay,
also,
perfect.
On the PFF, you have to be like a pro subscriber.
No, you can still do trades. They let you do trades. You just can't do a bunch of them.
No, I tried.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think they can offer you trades. I don't know that you can create them yourself.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to PFF anymore.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I said the free features.
So here we go. My mock draft first and foremost, and it is up on the screen now if you're watching on the YouTube channel over at 580 Sports Talk. So I've got Cam Ward first, Travis Hunter second, Abdul Carter third, Will Campbell fourth. That appears to be the consensus. Where it gets interesting is at 5, I have Mason Graham from Michigan going to Jacksonville. Armand Membu out of Missouri, the offensive tackle, going to the Raiders at 6. I feel like Pete Carroll taking an O-lineman that high is trying to get the running game going. Yep. Tyler Warren to the Jets at 7. Jalen Walker out of Georgia to the Panthers at 8. Shedeur Sanders, 9th to New Orleans. I don't love it, but New Orleans needs a quarterback of the future, and I don't buy the whole, we can just wait on Jackson Dart, or we really love Jackson Dart. Yeah, sure you do. Sure you do. Maybe they're a team looking to trade down. I have no idea. But if they stick and stay at 9, I think they're taking Shedeur. Ashton Genty to the Bears at 10.
Bit of a fall for him.
Kelvin Banks, 11th, the tackle from Texas to the 49ers. Ted McMillan, T-Mac to the Cowboys at 12. A lot of smoke around that right now. Texas cornerback Jahdae Barron to Miami at 13. They're obviously looking to trade Jalen Ramsey, so I went corner there. The Colts, Colston Loveland, the tight end for Michigan. Mike Green out of Marshall, the defensive end, to the Falcons at 15. They're dying for edge help. Cardinals get a bit of a steal at 16 with Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan, falling to there. Bengals upgrade the O-line with Tyler Booker, the guard out of Alabama. The Seahawks go back to the Ohio State wide receiver well. Worked out really well for them 2 years ago with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I have them taking Emeka Egbuka at number 18. 19, Tampa Bay, Jahad Campbell out of Alabama. We talked about him a few moments ago. Number 20, Denver going wide receiver, Matthew Golden out of Texas, adding to their wide receiver core. The Steelers replace Najee Harris with Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina, the running back at number 21. I have Derek Harmon out of Oregon going 22 to the Chargers. The Packers taking Shamar Stewart, the defensive end from Texas A&M. The Vikings go safety, Malachi Starks from Georgia at 24. At 25, Houston adds to their wide receiver room with Luther Burden out of Mizzou. At 26, Ohio State takes Josh Simmons. A lot of buzz around him to the Chiefs. Heard a report today from Ian Rappaport that there is growing optimism that Simmons could be ready for the start of training camp, which means the recovery from his patellar tendon injury is going swimmingly. LA needs long-term offensive line help. Rob Havenstein's out of contract. They need a tackle. Josh Simmons is the best one available. I think they take him at 26. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle of Michigan, goes 27 to Baltimore. Then James Pierce from Tennessee to Detroit at 28. Those are two really, really good players, and good organizations just take really good players. And that's what I have happening there. 29, we talked about this yesterday. The Manders go with Travion Henderson, the running back out of Ohio State. Then I have the Bills going edge with Nick Scourton from Texas A&M. The Chiefs, Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Ole Miss. That is my official draft crush. That's the guy I think the Chiefs need to come out of this draft with at 31 or higher. I'm really high on Walter Nolan, and the Chiefs get him in my mock at number 31. 32, of course, Philadelphia takes a Georgia defensive player. They get Michael Williams, the edge rusher. That is my mock draft. Thoughts?
You and I have a lot of similarities.
I would say so too.
So, a few here that stand out. The some of these, I feel like naturally it makes sense that we would have the same pick. Like, I'll tell you right now, Mike Green, I have going 15th to Atlanta.
I think I do as well.
They need to get the best available guy who gets after the quarterback. It doesn't matter where he comes from, who he played for in college, interior, exterior, whatever. They need a guy who gets after the quarterback. So I'm with you right there. The Saints are doing so much work in the, Schefter and Rappaport and Pelissero and all those folks to say, we don't want Sanders. We don't want Sanders. We don't want Sanders. It's essentially what the Chiefs are doing with tackles, where we hear stuff from a guy tied in like Matt Verderame. They don't want a tackle. And yet every mock draft says, yes, give them a tackle. Like, okay, what's happening here? Like, whose information is coming from where? That's what it feels like to me with New Orleans. Sanders feels like a natural fit. There's just so little, they are trying so hard to make people believe that they don't want him, which makes me feel like they want him. They're running so much interference with that. I'm surprised you went with wide receiver instead of running back for the Broncos.
Yeah, thought about it, but if they're all in on Bo Nix, give him another target to throw to down the field.
No, I think Golden. I'm gonna tell you right there. If I was picking the actual players, I would like Golden a lot more at 20 than where I have him going in my mock draft. I'll tell you that much right now. So, no, I think that's an interesting one. Walter Nolan, obviously, that fits in there. I would have loved to have put Emeka Egbuka higher in mine. I think he is awesome. Honest to God, the more I've done my own film study when I've been able to and looking at the college numbers and kind of hearing what people around the league have said, the stuff gets out through content creators and reporters and stuff. Egbuka is my number 2 receiver. I have moved him. He was always ahead of Golden for me. I've moved him ahead of Luther Burden.
I like him a lot. And Seattle, you don't go give Sam Darnold all that money and tell him, hey, Jake Bobo's your number 2 wide receiver, by the way. You got to go get him another guy.
No, I think that's totally fair.
And I think that I know there's a lot. Oh, Seattle's got to upgrade their offensive line. Yeah, of course. They've had to upgrade their offensive line for a decade. John Schneider thinks you can go get 2 bouncers from a local nightclub and start them at guard. They're not going to do it in the first round. I promise you that. I think they are going wide receiver.
All right, so I'll ask everybody this question. I'll answer it too. For you, from your 32 picks, which fit? Let's go out to the top 4 because it's pretty obvious that's how it's going to shake out at this point. Yeah. Yes, Travis Hunter's the best fit everywhere because he's the best player in the draft. Which pick to you is the best, like off the hand? Oh yeah, that's perfect. And which one gives you the most pause? Like, I don't love that I have this here.
A lot of like the late draft, like Grant and Pierce at 27 and 28. Those guys are top 15 talents. And I'd be very surprised if they go that late. And there are a lot of teams looking at the board going, how in the world do we let James Pierce game-wrecking edge on the high end? Some character concerns, but high-end talent. How do we let him get to Detroit? So I guess for me, I look at my favorite fit might be Ashton Genty to the Bears because we've seen what Ben Johnson can do with 2 backs. And, DeAndre Swift, no great shakes, but he's had Swift before, and then you get to pair him with the best running back in the draft. I think that's a lot of fun for Chicago.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
And take some of the heat off of Caleb Williams.
No, I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
All right, Brendan, it is your turn now. We're going to put your mock draft up on the screen. It is Brendan's mock draft, and go ahead and walk us through it.
All right, so same top 4. Again, all the reporting and the betting odds and everything make it seem like it's obvious. Cam Ward, the quarterback, first to Tennessee. Browns go Travis Hunter. Giants go Abdul Carter. And the Patriots go with Will Campbell at number 4. My first big shakeup is number 5. I think that offensive coordinator and play caller Liam Cohen, the new head man in Jacksonville, is going to want to make a splash on his side of the ball. I've got Ted McMillan going 5th to Jacksonville.
Wow.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Where was he just with a great pair of wide receivers? Tampa Bay. You had a dude in Chris Godwin who missed half the year, and then Mike Evans, your big-bodied guy. You've already got Brian Thomas Jr., who has truly elite speed. He actually had the fastest sprint speed in the NFL last year. Go get a big body, Teteroa McMillan. The guys who Trevor Lawrence, by the way, has the most success with. I think they try to make a splash right away and go Ted McMillan with the 5th pick. I've got Ashton Genty 6th to the Raiders. I know there's been a lot of reporting, maybe not there. I think it's a perfect fit. I think that's a great way to ease that offense into their next era. I'll go with the Missouri Tiger tackle, Armand Membu, 7th to the Jets. That's a common pick. Mason Graham from Michigan, the defensive lineman of the Panthers. They have got to get front 7 help. Next big splash, Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M, 9th overall to the New Orleans Saints. I went with the opposite side of what we were just talking about with Shedeur. They mean it. We're so convinced we're not going to take Sanders. We're going to do something really bold and maybe dumb. So I've got them going Shamar Stewart. Kelvin Banks from Texas to the Bears at number 10. I think that fits really well for them. Jalen Walker, edge/linebacker from Georgia to San Francisco. They need pass rush help. Matthew Golden, 12th to the Dallas Cowboys. All the smoke for the Cowboys is either T-Mac if he's there, and if he's not, Matthew Golden.
There you go.
So there you go. Matthew Golden there. I've got Kenneth Grant at 13. I've got him really high. He's picked up a lot of steam the last couple of days going to Miami. I have Will Johnson, the cornerback for Michigan, going 14th. 3 Wolverines in the top 14. I think Indy needs some cornerback help. They go there. We talked about Mike Green to the Falcons. Spencer's guy from Marshall. At the 16th pick, Michael Williams from Georgia going to Arizona. He's weird. Like, he's not a true edge, but he's not really an off-ball guy. He's not really an interior guy. The Cardinals just have 100 of those guys. That's what they love to do. I have the Bengals going defensive line, Derek Harmon. I think Derek Harmon's really good. I think he's a top 20 player. Bengals need line help. There you go. I have the Seahawks going Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State. Clint Kubiak likes block tight ends who can block and can get downfield. I did a lot of research, in fact, on Clint Kubiak to make sure that wasn't a stupid pick last night. So I've got them going with Tyler Warren. Jahdae Barron, the corner from Texas to Tampa Bay. I did go with running back for the Broncos, Marion Hampton from North Carolina. I've got Shedeur Sanders falling to 21 to Pittsburgh. That's the smoky pick right now. I love the fit, honestly.
That's the one organization that he could go to where the head coach is entrenched enough that he's not looking over his shoulder and wondering if Coach Prime is going to replace him in a year.
Reportedly, Tomlin loved him. That they met and Tomlin loved him, which I'm honestly not surprised by.
That doesn't surprise me either.
I've got the other tight end, Michigan's Colston Loveland, going 22 to the Chargers. Hey, by the way, who's the Chargers head coach?
Jim Harbaugh.
23rd, Packers, Maxwell Hairston, cornerback from Kentucky. His RAS score is almost a perfect 10. Just like you, I've got Malachi Starks, safety from Georgia, going to Minnesota. Perfect fit. Josh Connerly, offensive lineman from Oregon, going to Houston at 25.
They do need help up front.
I would not be surprised if they trade up. 26, I've got the same pick as you as well, Dan. Josh Simmons from Ohio State. They've got Alaric Jackson at left tackle. One more year of Rob Havenstein at right tackle. He doesn't have to play right away. Gray Zabel. I looked it up. Zabel. Offensive lineman from North Dakota State. He'll play guard in the NFL, going to Baltimore.
Very Baltimore kind of pick.
Extremely. Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College, going 28th to the Lions. They need a better edge across from Aiden Hutchinson. I really like Ezeraku. I'm with you on Travion Henderson to Washington. I have that pick as well. I've got the Bills going corner because they've got to get another one next to Christian Benford. Trey Amos from Ole Miss. And I'm with you on Walter Nolan to the Chiefs as well. He fell there. Like, you're not going to get that kind of talent at 31 very often. So I went Walter Nolan to the Chiefs and Tyler Booker, offensive guard from Alabama, to the Eagles. They're going to take a trench player.
Your favorite match of team and fit?
Ooh, favorite one here. I mean, I really like Hampton to the Broncos. That's such a chalky pick. Everyone is picking that. Other than that, though, I'm going to go Mason Graham to Carolina. I think that'd be a really good fit for them. He's a really good player. I think that's a really natural fit. Shamar Stewart to the Saints, like, he's huge and super athletic. I don't know that they would take a swing that big, but he does have the traits that the Saints historically have liked. He also had 4.5 sacks in 3 seasons in college.
Yeah, so that's wild. All right, Spencer Dupuis, you are up third, last but certainly not least. Let's see what you've got. Spencer, walk us through it.
Not my best draft.
Oh, we're getting bold in the first 4 picks.
Yeah, I've got the first 3 that everybody's got. Then I got Ashton Genty moving to the Patriots. I think they want a running back secretly. I think that they could use great running game there to complement the passing game that they're trying to go with. I got the same pick that the Jaguars have in McMillan that Brendan has. I think you can pair another wide receiver there for the Jags with Trevor Lawrence. I think that'd be great. 6, I've got the Raiders picking Mason Graham. Why not add another defensive lineman to their already pretty good defensive line? I got Will Campbell falling to 7 of the Jets. Why not need tackle help, right? I've got the Panthers picking Michael Williams, the edge rusher.
He's got a lot of helium. Like, I have him 32nd in my mock, and you've got him 8th. Like, there's a big range of outcomes for that player. Yeah.
I've got Shador at number 9. I'm questioning myself with this one. I don't think they're gonna get him that high now that I have fleeced over it a few times and looked over it. But then I got Malachi Starks, the safety to the Bears at 10, as they are going to stay there and pick. The 49ers get Walter Nolan.
And I've seen him up at that high in some recent mocks. Yeah.
There's a lot of guys on the draft board this year that are like either they're going to get picked in the top 12 or they're going to get picked in the first round. And I think that's widely known. And then I got Matthew Golden to the Cowboys because why not draft a wide receiver if you're Jerry Jones, because you just like to draft receivers.
Local guy too.
Yeah,
GT.
Sure. Then at 13, I've got the Dolphins picking Mizzou's Armand Membu.
Yeah.
And then the Colts, they like their tight ends. I got them getting Tyler Warren out of Penn State.
They'd be thrilled to get Tyler Warren.
Yeah. Then I got the same pick you guys have. Falcons pick Mike Green. I think that's pretty much.
That is a consensus.
Yeah, like across the board of people that know things. The Cardinals picking Jahdae Barron, the corner out of Texas. I got the Bengals picking Jahad Campbell out of the linebacker out of Bama. The Seahawks picking edge rusher Donovan.
Brendan, you know the name.
Ezeraku out of Boston College.
Good player.
Will Johnson, the corner to the Bucks at 19.
They'd be thrilled with that one.
Yeah, the Broncos picking Emike Mbuka, the wide receiver from Ohio State. 21st, the Steelers selecting Michigan defensive lineman Kenneth Grant. And then 22nd.
Yep, you and I have this one the same.
Colston Loveland.
The same.
The Michigan man.
The Michigan man with the former Michigan head coach there. And Packers at 23 got them picking an edge rusher, James Pierce James Pierce Jr. This is where I totally forgot what happened in the offseason and didn't do my homework. And I did totally forget that the Vikings did trade for Jordan Mason
and re-signed Aaron Jones.
So I think I messed up there.
Maybe somebody trades up for Omari and Hampton at 24.
You can get a point.
The Texans, they sold off their left tackle, so they need a new left tackle, and Josh Simmons.
Okay.
Why not? Right out of Ohio State. Then I got the Rams selected a tackle as well. Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas at 26. The Ravens, Nick Scourton, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M at 27. Another edge rusher, Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M at 28 for the Lions. Obviously, they need the edge rusher.
Yep.
They need the help. And I've got an interesting pick here for my Commanders. Corner Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. Why not add to the corner depth with Mikey Sanders still, Marshawn Lattimore, and Noah Igbenogany? Because Marshawn Lattimore can be a little questionable at times.
Injured a lot last year.
Yes, and not always great in coverage. So I have him going there because he falls there.
Okay.
Why not pick another first-round talent at corner? Then I got the linebacker from Georgia, Jalen Walker, going to the Bills. And I've talked about this on the show a couple times over the last few weeks. I think if he continues to fall, why not the Chiefs go receiver, 31 overall, Luther Burden, third out of Mizzou. And the Eagles like corner depth, so why not get Trey Amos out of Mississippi, the corner? And they would have an amazing defensive backcourt.
They certainly would. Spencer, quickly, your favorite match of pick and team there?
I think Walter Nolan to the 49ers.
Nolan to the 49ers. Yeah, that would be, they'd be thrilled. They'd be absolutely thrilled to get that player. Before we take a break, I have to pass on some severe weather updates here from the Capitol Federal Weather Center. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for north central Shawnee and southern Jackson counties until 5 p.m. at 4:18. The severe thunderstorm was located 5 miles south of the Potawatomi Reservation, moving east at 25 miles per hour. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail. Locations impacted include Hoyt, Potawatomi Reservation, Denison, and Mayetta. Also, a severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 5 p.m. for northeastern Wabunsee and southeastern Potawatomi counties. Severe thunderstorm at 4:26 p.m. was located 4 miles southeast of Wamego, moving east at 25 miles per hour. This one has golf ball-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So with the hail in this storm, people and animals outdoors will be injured. So be careful if you're in the locations impacted for this storm: McFarland, St. Mary's, Paxico, Maple Hill, and Bellevue. This also includes Interstate 70 between mile markers 325 and 343. So active severe thunderstorm warnings for north central Shawnee and southern Jackson and northeastern Wabunsee and southeastern Potawatomi counties until 5 p.m. We'll keep you updated as the afternoon goes along here on 580 Sports Talk. But for now, we'll take a timeout, come back with What Is Wrong With You on the program. It's What Is Wrong With You time on 580 Sports Talk, brought to you by our guy Ryan Mo Winkle, State Farm agent, Mo Winkle Insurance and Financial Services. Give Mo a call, 785-273-1572, because it's always good to have Mo on your side. If you know anything about sports, it's also true about insurance and financial services.
Also, probably, given the weather, not a bad idea to have that phone number handy.
Yeah, you take a few hail dings, you're gonna need an insurance guy. Yeah,
we had a little hail last night.
Oh yeah, we did. A lot of sticks down. I slept through it, but yeah, we did. We had some nasty weather. Our current What Is Wrong With You champion, sex toys on fire. Self-explanatory. Guy in New York, Staten Island, just took 2 adult toys and lit them on fire in his backyard, and in so doing, also faces arson charges because the fire spread to his home and 2 others and 2 vehicles. That is our current weekly champion. A tough act to follow. Brendan, I'm going to let you go first.
All right. For my story today, we meet 60-year-old, and let me get his full name here, 60-year-old Albert Dolan, who back in 2017 was accused of posing as a police officer and driving with red and blue lights activated on a black Dodge Charger. And then he pulled someone over and stopped that car and claimed he was with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the DEA. That's not true. That was in 2017. Then in January of 2018, while out on bond for that particular crime, he did the exact same thing and went to jail for 5 years for once again impersonating a cop. Why do 2 arrests in 2017 and 18 matter? Because in 2025, after getting out of jail, Albert Dolan once again has been arrested for impersonating a cop.
Jeez.
He was arrested Monday, accused of impersonating a police officer and trying to pull over another vehicle, something he was already sentenced to prison for. The driver thought the black car was an unmarked police vehicle, so he pulled over, according to deputies, who added that Dolan approached the victim on the driver's side of the vehicle and asked for his license. When the driver asked why, Dolan told him he was speeding. According to the sheriff's officials, the victim said Dolan refused to show his ID or badge and then let him go. The driver then called 911 and gave Dolan's license plate number. When deputies arrested Dolan, they say he uttered that he did not impersonate a deputy. The sheriff's office said Dolan has a history of buying former police vehicles with lights and sirens still attached, and this is the 3rd time he has been arrested for such a crime.
Dude, just go take the test. See if you can be one for real.
Go to the academy, bro.
Yeah, go to the academy. Follow your dreams.
I always see people like that. Like, there are people that definitely want their car, like they buy at the police auction, but they want it to still look like a cop car. Like, some people buy them because they're cheap cars, but then there's some people that make them still look like cop cars.
I think some people do it so they think they can get away with speeding, reckless driving.
100%.
Or this guy just really wants to live the life.
Yeah, he really wants to pull people over and write speeding tickets. Man, let's go to the academy. I'm sure the highway patrol would be happy to have you.
Do that on like a video game.
But maybe not, because he's a felon, because he's done it twice and gone to prison for a long time for it. And he's about to go to prison again. My story, we go to Kentucky and a multi-county chase in a vehicle. Indiana State Police say just before 9 a.m. Monday morning, Warwick County dispatch received a call about a reckless driver on State Road 62. A Chandler police officer tried to stop the car, but the driver kept going. The vehicle eventually stopped after crashing into a ditch on Heim Road. Indiana State Police say 31-year-old Nina DeViez, who was wearing a motorcycle helmet, exited their vehicle and began waving an object that appeared to be a sword at a police officer. She was shot. At least once. DeViez was able to drive away in the officer's patrol vehicle and drove towards Boonville, Indiana. Police lost contact with the cruiser until a Rockport police officer spotted it, tried to stop the vehicle, but the suspect continued to travel south at speeds of more than 120 miles per hour. She led police over the William Natcher Bridge and then crashed into an open field while on US 60 near Terminal Road, ran away from authorities, but was eventually tased and taken into custody. She was taken to the hospital as she was bleeding heavily from several gunshot wounds in her chest.
Jeez.
And remains a PCSO guard. She was charged in November with attempted murder amongst 6 other felonies.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Criminal confinement.
Came out with the sword like Highlander.
Jeez.
There could be only one. All right. There could be only one winner today. And what is wrong with you?
I think my story is stupider.
Yes.
More stupid. I'm going to go with that one. As far
Yeah.
as we know, he was not accused of murder.
Yeah,
However, that doesn't beat the reigning champ, in my opinion.
I would agree. Sex Toys on Fire continues on as our What Is Wrong With You winner, sponsored by State Farm agent Ryan Mo Winkle, 785-273-1572. Tim Fitzgerald joins us next for the Wildcat Wrap-up. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by Tim Fitzgerald of GoPowerCat.com, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. He joins us every Wednesday on 580 Sports Talk for the Wildcat Wrap-up. And Fitz, you just heard out in Manhattan from some of the defensive coaching staff for the K-State football team. Joe Klanderman held a press conference. Buddy Wyatt, Steve Standard, Mike Tuiasosopo all spoke as well. What was the most interesting thing you took away from what Joe Klanderman had to say about his defense so far this spring?
I think just that they feel like they've got really good depth, and the position coaches like where their guys are throughout the defensive side of the ball. Now, one asterisk there might be linebacker because 4 of their top guys are out. They've been really limited in the spring, which is exactly why they don't have a spring game because they wouldn't have enough for 2 teams. But boy, every time you go to these press conferences, you just hear talk about depth and how well conditioned these guys are, and they feel like they're better suited to hold up through a season now.
You mentioned some injury concerns this spring anyway at linebacker. Any thought that those might be the kinds of things that linger and affect fall availability, or do they feel like the 4 guys that are not participating right now are going to be full go and big parts of the rotation come week 0?
Yeah, they feel like that's why they're holding them out this spring, so they'll be fully ready when camp opens. Now, Asa Newsome has had another, knee injury, and they got to see how that progresses. It has been an ongoing problem for him, but Austin Romaine's out, and other guys are out, and they're
again if we're going out. Sounds like we're back. We've got Tim Fitzgerald still with us, so perfect. Anyway, you were talking about the linebackers. Austin Romain's out. Asa Newsom dealing with another injury. I know Desmond Purnell's been down as well. I know there's some interest here in the Topeka product. And this is a group, Fitz, that it's a veteran group. These guys have played a lot of football, and it's just a matter of making sure that they're right for that Iowa State game.
Yeah, exactly right. At the end of the day, spring doesn't mean much. When guys like Romain and Purnell have proved themselves, hold them out in the spring isn't the worst thing in the world because those guys are, they'll step on the field. They're professionals. They'll take care of their business. But a guy like Gabe Powers from Ohio State has stepped in and gotten a lot of practice time and turned a lot of heads. So there's some positives there at linebacker. And again, the depth is just so much better. And they feel like that off-season conditioning that added 3 weeks has really paid off.
We're hearing about a lot of players going portaling, and this is not unique to Kansas State, but in particular, it sure feels like a lot of the guys that right now have entered into the transfer portal are players who aren't going to make that 105-man cut. That Kansas State has to get under that number because that is the anticipated new restriction and rule in the NCAA with the House settlement. Is that kind of the case for most of the guys that we're seeing entering the transfer portal? Is that the coaching staff is kind of having to make some really wrenching decisions right now about guys that they would maybe otherwise like to keep in the program, but it is turned into a numbers game?
Exactly. Every one of these guys I'm seeing pop up is exactly that. They're not going to make the 105. Now, they won't be at 105 coming out of spring, but they're giving some guys, early warning here that they need to get in the portal and start looking for another opportunity. And Joe Klanman spoke about this and how it's been heartbreaking for Chris Kleiman to player personnel cuts, which I didn't think we were doing in college football, but here we are. The NCAA is always looking out for the student athletes, except for those 106, 107 and on guys. Screw them. It's a fiasco. This what the courts have done to the NCAA, what the NCAA has not monitored, it's just turned into utter chaos, and it's a shame that they're doing this to people's lives.
Tim Fitzgerald is our guest. He is the publisher of GoPowerCat.com, and he joins us every single Wednesday at this time for our Wildcat Wrap-up via the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Make sure you're VIP at 24/7 Sports so you can get all the great inside information from Fitz and his crew over at GoPowerCat.com. You mentioned, Fitz, that K-State's not going to be at 105 coming out of the spring, and I imagine most programs probably aren't. What is the number that they're going to be looking at in all likelihood, and how flexible do you think this program can be in terms of its roster number?
Well, they'll be, I'm just guessing now, it'll be around 110, 115 maybe, probably under 115 going into the summer, because you don't know. Maybe some guy, you don't want to, until the portal's closed, you don't want to mess around and cut all your guys, because then some guys might jump in the portal. And plus, I think it'll give players an added opportunity to prove themselves. Again, they may not know who those 105 are. The last 3, 4, 5 spots might be totally up for grabs. And they're out. This is ugly. This is just unfortunate. But here we are. Got to be done. And keep in mind that the settlement's not even in place yet, but the coaches know that they got to be prepared for it.
Would you be in favor of a single transfer portal window? Because right now for football, you've got two. You've got one at the end of the season and then one obviously at the end of spring practice. I've seen that proposed as an idea to kind of quell some of this, the nightmare, the calamity that this is. And I can see personally some pros and cons to it, but you end up with guys, there's a situation at Wisconsin, I know, with a tight end and some other schools too, where guys are transferring in, going through spring practice, and then leaving. And I get it. If you're promised something and then you don't have that promise met, well, I want to go somewhere else. I get it. But do you think that would help slow down some of this wild, nonstop transferring in college football?
Yeah, it was James Franklin. We just had him talking about it, and Chris Kleiman talked to me about it. A lot of coaches want to shut down spring football altogether and shut that after the season window and just go to a spring one, so you can put the kids all through conditioning and they can get a better idea of where they're at in the roster. I think so many kids just jump into the portal after the season and would have been big contributors and might ended up in a program where they're not going to play very much. And, so a lot of coaches want to go to a summer OTA or whatever it's called, to kind of mimic what the NFL does, have an early summer one. And, but you're also going to have to accommodate the guys that don't make the team in the fall, which I haven't heard how they're going to handle that. I mean, if you cut 5 guys in the fall, I guess they're automatically in the portal because they're no longer on your team, but there isn't technically a portal window there for them to use.
Let's hop over from the gridiron to the hardwood. Big acquisition for Jerome Tang's group this past weekend. Nate Johnson, the reigning MAC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year from Akron. He is the newest Kansas State Wildcat. Again, I tell you guys, be a VIP because there were some great notes about this before the news broke officially over the weekend. But nonetheless, he's a Wildcat. Fitz, what do you like or possibly dislike about this fit?
Well, he's an all-around player. Being the conference player of the year, it isn't just points, and he's not a volume scorer. He's at 14 points a game, but he also rebounds, shares the ball, plays really good defense. He's got so many strengths to his game. They need a little more oomph through the portal. They're not even close to having a filled roster, but this is a great player to add. It's a player you can kind of build around, and I don't expect him to be a superstar, but I expect him to be pretty darn good.
How much more can this team ask of the 3 guys who are returning? Taj Manning, who probably has not developed the way Jerome Tang seemed to indicate he thought he would. Said he'd be the winningest player in K-State history. Probably not going to end up that. But Taj Manning, David Castillo, obviously he had so much hype last year. And then Moby Ike Gwaruka, who I think all of us would agree did more in his first year with the program than anyone expected. How much more can Tang and staff ask of those guys this coming year? Like, do they have the potential to all take large steps forward as contributors?
Yeah, Todd just keeps gutting it out because he loves Kansas State. I think he's choosing right now to be at the school he loves more than playing time, and
good for him.
That's a mature decision. But the other 2, David Castillo and Moby, I think they're both going to be in the rotation next year, play a lot. I think this is a really important offseason for David Castillo to build up his strength and just further acclimate himself to this level of basketball because this is a guy that was completely dominant in AAU in high school. He's played against really good talent, but when he got up and got it to more physical guards and more physical defense, it kind of knocked him off his path. And I think he'll get that solved and be a much more productive player this next season.
Last couple of things for Tim Fitzgerald, GoPowerCat.com, joining us for the Wildcat Wrap-up here on 580 Sports Talk. Fitz, how badly did the Batcats need that win over Wichita State last night?
Yeah. I mean, this has been kind of what Kansas City sports has been this season. You get a lot of hope up, and then, there's a crash. Let's see if they can get back on track. And they did a lot of damage to their resume last week.
And lastly, of course, you got the NFL draft coming up this weekend. The anticipation, of course, is that both Jacob Parrish and DJ Giddens will hear their names called sometime during day 2, possibly early day 3. Any other Wildcats? Is there some buzz around Marcus Siegel maybe getting drafted? Yep. Or what are you hearing about the draft prospects for those guys?
Yeah, there is talk around Siegel. In fact, a buddy texted me today and says he's seen a mock with him in the 3rd round, which honestly would surprise me that high. I think he's probably a 5, 6, 7 round kind of guy. But I think all 3 of those guys have helped their prospects a lot with what they've shown at the combine and other places when they've had tryouts. And I see DJ at a couple podcasts, which is not his thing, but handling himself pretty well. I think DJ's helped himself tremendously. Running backs are a low priority in the NFL, but when the running backs start going, he's going to be in the first 3 or 4 because he translates to the NFL exceptionally well. And I've heard a comparison to an Emmitt Smith, which I don't quite see. He's not quite that low to the ground and hard to tackle. He's just got some great feel for space and some moves that can get him loose, but that speed really surprised people at the combine, and that's pretty handy to have.
DJ is the what pick your cliche, the strong silent type, lets his game do the talking. Pick your cliche when it comes to DJ Giddens, but look forward to hearing what he has to say after he finds a new NFL home this weekend. We always look forward to what Tim Fitzgerald has to say on the Wildcat Wrap-up here on 580 Sports Talk. We do it every Wednesday at this time. Go check out GoPowerCat.com. Become a VIP subscriber at 24/7 Sports today. Fitz, always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you, boy.
That is Tim Fitzgerald. We'll take a timeout, come back and wrap up this hour of 580 Sports Talk right after this. From the Capitol Federal Weather Center, I'm Dan Lucero. We have a tornado warning in effect for our listening area, so we are interrupting 580 Sports Talk to bring you some severe weather coverage. Tornado warning is in effect from the National Weather Service in Topeka for west central Jefferson, north central Shawnee, and southeastern Jackson counties until 5:15 p.m. Central Time. At 4:50 p.m. Central Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 4 miles southeast of Hoyt, moving east at 15 miles per hour. Radar has indicated rotation, and hazards include a tornado and half-dollar size hail. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur, and tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Hoyt and Meriden. If you are in the path of this storm, take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building and avoid windows. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Again, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for west central Jefferson County, north central Shawnee County, and southeastern Jackson County until 5:15 p.m. Central Time. Some of you, if you were listening to 580 Sports Talk of 580 WIBW, have indicated that you did hear the sirens a moment ago, and that is why you heard those sirens. The storm was spotted 4 miles southeast of Hoyt, moving east at 15 miles per hour, and includes a tornado and half-dollar size hail. Radar indicating that there is rotation with this storm. I am going to be pulling up a radar map here momentarily to try and give you a feel for what it is that we're looking at here. And we'll hope to get some folks from Weatherology on the horn with us as well. But obviously, we've been tracking some severe thunderstorms throughout the afternoon that have moved into the area from the west. And speaking as we sit here in the capital city, and the brunt of those storms is actually passing north of Topeka right now. There's a strong cell just south of Topeka, and the one that contains this tornado warning as well as a couple of active severe thunderstorm warnings is north and northwest of Topeka. And you're seeing the activity that could potentially be tornadic that is developing right now. It is just to the west of Meriden and also over Hoyt as well. So those are the two locations that have been indicated with regards to this tornado warning. We'll continue to endeavor to bring you the latest on this storm. Again, we have an active tornado warning for west central Jefferson County, north central Shawnee County, and southeastern Jackson County until 5:15 p.m. Central Time. With this storm, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. And the locations impacted include Hoyt and Meriden. Take cover now if you are in the path of this storm. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. There are severe thunderstorm warnings that are just about to expire for northeastern Wabaunsee and southeastern Potawatomi counties and for north central Shawnee and southeastern Jackson counties. Those are the thunderstorms that we mentioned, the thunderstorm warnings that were in effect. And what we're seeing is these storms move to the east. You're starting to see that rotation again. It is almost between Hoyt and Meriden where you're really starting to see on radar the reflection of that rotation of the storm and the possibility of that hook echo that would indicate the possibility of a tornado, hence then the tornado warning. So it is 5 o'clock. It is the top of the hour. You're listening to severe weather coverage, 580 WIBW AM Topeka. And we are in the middle of a tornado warning that is in effect for west central Jefferson, north central Shawnee, and southeastern Jackson counties. You are also hearing us as well for our weather coverage on KTPK, Topeka 106.9 FM, and WIBW FM 94.5 Topeka as well. So for our listeners there, we are keeping you up to date on the weather situation. The severe thunderstorm warnings have both expired. There is an existing flash flood warning for northeastern Jackson and southeastern Nemaha counties. That's in effect until 8 p.m. In place of the severe thunderstorm warnings, we have special weather statements that indicate that strong thunderstorms will impact southwestern Jefferson, southeastern Shawnee, northwestern Douglas, and northeastern Osage counties through 5:45 p.m. The latest on that line of storms, 4:59 p.m. Central Time, Doppler radar was tracking strong thunderstorms along a line extending from 3 miles southwest of Tecumseh to 3 miles northwest of Overbrook. Movement east at 15 miles per hour, including wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour, possibly nickel-sized hail. Locations impacted include Clinton Lake, Tecumseh, Barryton, Clinton, Richland, Grantville, and Topeka, including the Kansas Turnpike between mile markers 179 and 194. The line of storms that is north of that is in northwestern Shawnee, northeastern Wabaunsee, and southeastern Potawatomi counties, including St. Mary's, Silver Lake, Maple Hill, Rossville, Willard, Topeka, I-70 between mile markers 338 and 355, and the Kansas Turnpike near mile marker 174. Again, those are not severe weather warnings. Those are just special weather statements at this point, and that is what we're tracking with those storms. But the most concerning right now is the tornado warning that remains in effect until 5:15 p.m. for west central Jefferson, northeastern Shawnee, and southeastern Jackson counties. The latest on this storm at 5 p.m. Central Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Meriden, moving east at 15 miles per hour. Radar indicating rotation, possibility of a tornado, and quarter-size hail. Locations impacted including Meriden. So that is the direction that storm is moving right now, moving a bit away now from Hoyt and then that Highway 75 and continuing to move east and a little bit north as well, track a little bit north of towards Meriden and north of Meriden there in Jackson County or Jefferson County, excuse me. If you are in the line of this storm, again, the locations impacted include Meriden. So if you're out in Meriden right now, take cover. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building and avoid windows. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. That is, again, a tornado warning that remains in effect until 5:15 p.m. for west central Jefferson, northeastern Shawnee, and southeastern Jackson counties. That is at present, in addition to the existing flash flood warning for northeastern Jackson and southeastern Nemaha counties until 8 p.m., the only severe weather warning that is currently in effect. As I refresh the map here and trying to zoom in again. This is all happening north of Highway 24 towards Meriden. The storm. It looks like, again, if the hook echo is likely to develop, it is occurring kind of just south of Meriden, and then that line of severe storms, well, not quite severe storms, but that line of storms about which the special weather statement was released, that's coming from the south and moving northeast. And that right now is what is impacting greater Topeka and the areas that are south and southeast, moving kind of along the line there of I-70. So if you're out driving right now, or if you don't have to be out driving right now within the sound of our voice in the capital city, I would strongly suggest avoiding it for the time being as we wait for this line of severe storms to pass. Again, this is the Capitol Federal Weather Center, and we are in a tornado warning. It is in effect for the next 10 minutes, 5:15 p.m. Central Time, for west central Jefferson, northeastern Shawnee, and southeastern Jackson counties. Hazards include tornado and quarter-size hail, and locations impacted include Meriden. So, of course, that is just northeast of the capital city where we're sitting right now. So that storm is continuing to move east and a bit northeast. The trailing storm behind that was severe but has weakened in severity is sort of trailing that line of storms, coming along now through St. Mary's along Highway 24, moving north towards Delia and Emmett. And again, there were some severe thunderstorm warnings that were called off that expired, that were allowed to expire at 5 o'clock. So hopefully that as these storms continue to move east and northeast, that they all are able to diminish in severity to the point where they're no longer an imminent threat. But right now we remain in a tornado warning until 5:15 for west central Jefferson, northeastern Shawnee, and southeastern Jackson counties. Real quick about that flash flood warning, that's in effect till 8 o'clock tonight. There have been heavy rains out northeastern Jackson, southeastern Nemaha counties. Between 2 and 3.5 inches of rain had fallen by 4 p.m. this afternoon, and the expectation is that there's a possibility of 1 to 3 more inches. Locations that will experience flash flooding with that warning include Holton, Circleville, and Netawaka. If you are in that area, flash flooding of small creeks and streams, urban areas, highways, streets, and underpasses, as well as other poor drainage and low-lying areas is possible. So turn around and don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles. Once again, this is the Capitol Federal Weather Center coverage on 580 WIBW AM, 94.5 WIBW FM, and KTPK 106.9 FM. If you are listening along to 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, we are able to share with you, or do our best to share with you, the radar from the National Weather Service. And so you're looking at now on the YouTube stream on our 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel the radar map that we are presently looking at, and we'll refresh that. So visual aid for those of you who are doing that. The storm again continues to move north and northeast, and if there is good news to be found, or hopeful news anyway, I won't call it good, but I'll call it hopeful news. It's that the line of storms behind this and to the south of this have all weakened in severity as they've moved to the point where they are no longer considered severe. So hopefully the same goes for this storm that has created the tornado warning, and we're able to let that cancel at 5:15 p.m. But again, the latest we had on that one at 5 o'clock p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Meriden, moving due east at 15 miles per hour. Radar indicated rotation with tornado and quarter-size hail. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur, and tree damage is likely with this storm. If you were in the line of this storm, again, particularly if you are hearing us in Meriden, take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building and avoid windows. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Yeah, that is the only active severe warning that we are tracking here for the Capitol Federal Weather Center. It's a tornado warning in effect until 5:15 p.m. for west central Jefferson, northeastern Shawnee, and southeastern Jackson counties. As you watch the storms develop, the intensity again has weakened for the storms. This is kind of part of the leading edge of this line of storms up to the north of Topeka, and again towards that Meriden area, and the threat continues to move east. So out towards Perry Lake, and these storms move east. The storm coming from the south that is currently impacting greater Topeka, Tecumseh, the Kansas Turnpike area there. That is not a storm that is currently carrying with it any warnings, and has not at any point. That has not been a storm tonight that has reached the point of severity where there have been any warnings. There were some active severe thunderstorm warnings north and west, out up north towards Hoyt, the Potawatomi Reservation, and out west towards St. Mary's. But those storms no longer meet the criteria for being severe. We've just gotten this now from the National Weather Service. The tornado warning for west central Jefferson, northeastern Shawnee, and southeastern Jackson counties will expire at 5:15 p.m. Central Time. The storm which prompted the warning has weakened below severe limits and no longer appears capable of producing a tornado. Therefore, the warning will be allowed to expire. However, small hail and gusty winds are still possible with this thunderstorm. So, certainly not out of a rain threat yet, but it does appear that in the next 5 minutes here, the tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire. So these have been storms that have just kind of been on the borderline of severity, and they've been occurring throughout the day. There's been some fairly heavy rain that has occurred. And we mentioned the flash flood warning that is in effect until 8 p.m. for northeastern Jackson and southeastern Nemaha County, up along I-75 there, or not I-75, Highway 75, Holt, the Netawaka area. But the storms that have produced that rain coming up behind it no longer meet that definition of severity. So what we're going to do is wrap up our coverage from the Capitol Federal Weather Center Severe Weather Desk, and we're going to throw it back to regular programming, 106.9 KTPK FM Topeka and 94.5 WIBW FM Topeka. We will also shortly return to 580 Sports Talk on 580 WIBW AM in Topeka as well. We appreciate you being with us and staying informed from the Capitol Federal Weather Center. I'm Dan Lucero. We will break into programming again if need be, but for now, that is going to wrap our coverage with the tornado warning for west central Jefferson, northeastern Shawnee, and southeastern Jackson counties set to expire at 5:15 p.m. The storm has weakened below severe limits and no longer appears capable of producing a tornado, so the warning will be allowed to expire. We'll now return you to your regular programming. Let's get it. Hour number 3 of 580 Sports Talk, a shortened version. We appreciate those of you who hung with us through the severe weather coverage, both on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, 104.9 FM, 580WIBW.com, and on our video stream. We did have some folks hanging out with us in the video stream. We appreciate those of you watching on 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, our YouTube channel, and on our Facebook page, WIBW News. Dan Lucero, Brendan Dworzinski, and Spencer Dupuis with you. We have a final hour of 580 Sports Talk still to get to. We're going to do some Chiefs draft scenarios. That's going to be fun. We'll do that here in just a little bit. We'll also preview games 2 and 3 of the Rockies-Royals series as the Rockies, or rather Royals, go for a series win over the Rockies tonight behind Michael Lorenzen. And then Thursday could actually have a really fun pitching matchup. We'll talk about that a little bit as well because, of course, Thursday is day baseball. So we'll be on the air following the next 2 Royals games. Want to hear from you on the text line, 785-272-9429, and in the live chat on our YouTube stream. Again, the channel 580 Sports Talk. We don't have a lot in the way of 580 Sports Talk headlines. Brendan, you want to talk for a bit about what they're doing with D2 football playoffs?
Yes, do want to touch on this. The MIAA and Commissioner Mike Racy have been staunch supporters of this, but the NCAA Division II Executive Board today approved expansion for the Division II football playoffs. Also, a change in budget requirements for Division II schools. So here is the information for you on the bracket expansion. The recommendation to expand the football bracket stemmed from 2 key actions at the NCAA convention. First, the D2 Executive Board approved new exceptions to the triennial budget process. Wow, you should never hear the phrase triennial budget if you're talking about sports. Secondly, Division II members voted to make football an automatic qualification sport, replacing the earned access model. So what that means is there are enough conferences that will have automatic playoff qualifiers that they actually, by NCAA rule, have to expand the field so that they can allow more at-large teams to be selected. There are bylaws about that. So after 28 teams previously were in the bracket, it is now expanding to 32 teams, which is great. That is a very good thing for Division II football. It's a really good thing if you're the MIAA. What this also means is no more first-round buys. If you're in the playoffs, you're playing every single week. And honestly, I love it. I think that is a great thing. So Division II will now have 32 football teams making its postseason. This is a good move by the NCAA. Here's what's next. Get rid of regionals.
I was just about to
Dump
say.
them now.
So that means they got rid of the regional format, right?
I wish.
Right?
I wish. Yeah, it'll still be super regions for football. It'll still be your regionals for basketball, etc. That is a scourge on Division II. It is unfortunate. It is unfair to the athletes, to the coaches, to the fans, etc. But take the minor wins. D2 football playoffs are expanding. This is a good thing. You've covered D2 football for years, Spencer. This is a positive thing for everyone.
And I think it's so weird how the football specifically is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could be a really good team and miss out on the playoffs.
Yeah, it's wrong.
You could be in a really good conference
and
be good and miss out on the playoffs.
The MIAA knows it very well. Yeah, so this is a good thing. There's still work to be done. And again, big appreciation to Commissioner Mike Racy of the MIAA, a Washburn guy himself, who we've had on the program plenty of times before. Really a staunch advocate for this, and I'm glad D2 is moving in this direction.
Real quick before we get to the playoff roundup, because we are very short on headlines today. We'll just be completely honest. This is a pretty slow news day for this Wednesday. We're going to do the playoff roundup, and then we're going to go long on some Chiefs draft scenarios. But did just see this come across from Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports. The judge overseeing the House settlement in regards to the NCAA, Claudia Wilkin, has issued an order giving attorneys 14 days to phase in and or grandfather in roster limits, or the House settlement will be denied. Here's some of the crucial language in Judge Wilkin's ruling. The court finds that the decision by defendants and NCAA member schools to begin implementing the roster limits before the court granted final approval of the settlement agreement is not a valid reason for approval of the agreement in its current form, despite the harm discussed. The court will delay denial of final approval to permit the parties to attempt to modify the settlement. The members of The injunctive relief settlement class will not be harmed by the immediate implementation of the roster limits provisions. Within 14 days of this order, the parties shall make their best efforts to consult with their mediator remotely and together or separately about potential modifications of the settlement agreement to address the court's concerns. So I think what this means, to the best of my knowledge, I think what this means is if you have a roster spot right now, you can keep it. And if you are currently on a roster, and if you are a team that has a rostered player, we just talked about this with regards to K-State football. They're essentially cutting kids during spring practice, telling them, look, you're not one of our 105 best guys. And we have to get down to 105 because that's what this house settlement is going to do.
There are teams in the Big 12 already doing that as well across the board.
Yeah.
West Virginia did it a lot with those, especially their in-state guys, which they give preferred walk-ons to. That's how they do with a lot of their in-state guys.
And K-State doing the same.
Yeah, K-State's very similar.
And they're all gone. They're all now D2.
So yeah, there are a lot of those guys that are in the portal and or going into the portal. But if Judge Wilkin has her way, teams will be able to keep players that are currently in school on their rosters as long as they have eligibility, is how I understand this.
Good.
So a kid like, and I'll give a couple of local examples, like Kansas kids who I know have entered the transfer portal out of K-State, like Brock Wolf out of Brewster, way out west in Kansas, way out northwest Kansas, or Tyson Struber is another one from Canton Galva, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, he was an insane high school athlete.
Yes, they've entered the portal, but those kids were walk-ons who were embracing the opportunity to be K-State Wildcats. This injunction, I believe, or this order, I believe, if the NCAA and the defendants get their ducks in a row on this and come to an agreement on this, then what the judge wants to see is those players, like a Tyson Struber, could stay at Kansas State, and you would grandfather in players who are already rostered, and they would not count against a 105 player limit in football, just while we're using football as an example. I think it makes the roster sizes kind of tough to govern for the next handful of years with this settlement. But I also think that because who's this really for? This is for the Tyson Strubers of the world, right? This is for the kids who walk on at West Virginia, or they walk on at Kansas State. They walk on at Nebraska, who's always had a great walk-on program. It's for the kids who, okay, maybe I'm never going to play. Maybe I'm the 114th guy on this roster, but I get to run out of the tunnel and wear this uniform, and my parents get to see me do it. And maybe by my senior year, I'm on special teams. You know, maybe my career path looks like Ty Bowman, to use a recent name, who was a walk-on who ended up playing some wide receiver and some special teams out of Chanute for K-State. Maybe that's my path. But if it's not, I got to go to my dream school and get a degree and be on the football team. I do think that is a harm that is being done by the House settlement. And coaches are unanimous in saying this. But sounds like if there's not a fix, if not those kids don't get grandfathered in, then the House settlement's not passing.
This is good. I appreciate the Judge Wilkin doing this, because I think this is right. If we had more time with Fitz, I did want to ask about that. Like, why couldn't you make this a progressive thing, right? Like, okay, by 2020, by the start of this season, you got to be to 115, and then next year it's got to be 110. And like, why can't it be that? Apparently Judge Wilkin feels the same way. I hate to be super negative. I hate to be super pessimistic. They're going to screw this up.
Yeah.
They're going to screw this up. Until I have proof that the members of the NCAA, the schools, can get it right, I'm just going to guess they're going to screw this up. These athletes deserve it. I'm looking right now at a tweet from Boone Morris, who was a pretty well thought of PWO for K-State, announcing he's got 4 years of eligibility left. He's going into the portal. Guys like that, they shouldn't have their spots taken away. That's, you think about it, like a school that closes a program, like Jacksonville out of Florida, the Dolphins, they closed their football program a few years ago. They said, hey, look, everybody who was on the football team you get to keep your scholarship. Like, we obviously can't help you play football anymore because we don't have a football team, but we will go out of our way to help you find a new home. And if you choose to stay at Jacksonville University, your scholarship will be honored in full. If you're one of these guys, mostly priority walk-ons or walk-ons in general, and you get told, hey, look, we got to cut the rosters down. Here's what it's going to look like. You get to stay on. Like, guys after you are not going to get this same opportunity, which is unfortunate for the future. It's unfortunate for guys in the state of Kansas, but it is what it is. But you're already here. You already committed. You already paid a year of tuition or a semester of tuition to be here. You went through a year of practice and used your red shirt. You get to stay and be a part of this football team or whatever sport. Football, obviously, most important right now. That's how it should be. If we're talking about just like being just and doing right by the athletes who the NCAA is supposed to be looking out for, then yes, this is how it should be. But again, I'm a pessimist about anything the NCAA does, and I'm just going to assume the member schools are going to screw this up until they prove they can get it right.
Text from the 785 says, a lot of legal jargon in headlines today. Yeesh.
God, it sucks. Seriously, man, it sucks. Like, yeah. The fact that I've had this complaint for years now, but so much talk about college football has become like, oh, let's talk about TV ratings, and let's talk about, like, what would this hypothetical matchup look like in the playoffs? What if they get an injunction? How can we build our roster and go through the transfer portal window process if this injunction is granted in the lower district of New York? Like, if you're somebody who is eating this stuff up and spends your day on social media, like, talking about this stuff, do you like it? Like, are you enjoying it? I'm not talking about journalists, but, like, the people who are constantly eating this stuff up and talking about ratings and talking about realignment and talking about injunctions and stays and all this, you having fun? Like, are you enjoying college football? Because I'm not when you talk about that. When we get to talking about Avery Johnson and Jalen Daniels and Deuce Vaughn and the Big 12. Well, Deuce has been out for years. I should have said Dylan Edwards. Like, that's exciting to me, not this crap. But we're stuck with it.
No, I'm right there with you. We're going to get to a playoff roundup in a second. First, though, want to pass this along. A severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 5:45 p.m. for southeastern Shawnee and west central Douglas counties. At 5:23 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Barryton, moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. That's a big difference. Ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts expected with this storm. Locations impacted include Pauline, Richland, Tecumseh, Barryton, and Topeka. This includes the Kansas Turnpike between mile markers 179 and 187. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 5:45 p.m. for southeastern Shawnee and west central Douglas counties. Let's do a playoff roundup.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
We'll run through this. We'll start on ice. We start in basketball all the time. We'll start on ice. In the NHL last night, 2-0 leads for Carolina and Toronto in their series as they both won last night, Carolina beating New Jersey. Max Domi, the OT winner for Toronto to beat Ottawa. Florida routs Tampa Bay 6-2, game one of their first-round Battle of Florida series. Meanwhile, one game out west last night, Minnesota defeats Vegas. That series is even at 1 apiece. Tonight, first up, Montreal and Washington. Spencer, vibe check. How you feeling?
I am feeling pretty darn good. Still waiting on Alexi Protas. He's probably not in the lineup.
We'll take your word for it. That's definitely a real person who I knew existed before you said his name.
Breakout year. 30 goals this year after only scoring 6 last year.
That is a big deal. So Washington leads that series 1-0. First of the game threes tonight, Colorado hosting Dallas. Avalanche captain Gabe Landeskog expected to play in his first game since Game 6 of the 2022 Stanley Cup Final. He went through pregame warmups but didn't dress for Game 2. I think they were saving him for the emotional lift at home in Game 3. Don't blow it, guys. Edmonton and L.A. also tonight. L.A. leads that series 1-0.
I will take your word that all of that was factual.
In the NBA
you could have made it all up, and I would be none the wiser.
Nah, that's real puck. I know of what I speak. Pacers and Thunder in the NBA take 2-0 series leads with wins last night. The Grizzlies are barely there. That's going to be
at least they fought. Tried last night.
Still, we're down 20 plus in the fourth quarter. It's just a waste of 8 days for everybody involved. Fast start held up for the Lakers last night. They even their series with Minnesota at 1 game apiece. Lakers were up big early and held on late to even up that series. Tonight, 3 games. Orlando at Boston. No Jason Tatum for the Celtics. He's been ruled out with a wrist injury as the defending champs try to go up 2-0 at home. Miami is at Cleveland. Cleveland leads that series 1-0. Golden State up 1-0 on Houston. That game 2 at Houston tonight.
Real quick, I wanted to pull this up because the Tatum stuff has kind of been trickling out over the course of the day. The spread when I checked it out 2 hours ago was 10.5 favoring the Celtics, and it has been altered by 0 points.
There you go.
That the spread has not moved one single half a point.
That'll do it for our playoff roundup and for our 580 Sports Talk headlines. When we come back, some Chiefs draft scenarios. We're going to play a little game on 580 Sports Talk. So we're going to play a little game here on 580 Sports Talk. During the break, each of us drew 2 cards, little sticky notes, and we have 6 draft scenarios for the Chiefs. 6 possibilities they could do with the number 31 pick tomorrow night on the first night of the NFL draft. We don't know what they are. We're going to open them, and then as we each open, we each have 2. As we each open one, we're going to react to it as though it was the pick that was made. Our individual reaction to if this is the pick. So I'll go first. I'll show you how this is going to go. I've got my little card here. You can see it on the video on our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk.
Can we make this as real as possible? Well, hold on. I got it. Every time I want to pull up a video to play on the fly, there's always got to be a damn ad. All right, Spencer, if I could get some audio on my computer before we make the first pick.
Make sure it's in P3 too.
Are you sure? Because I just gave you audio.
Yes. Yeah, I never. Are we good now? Yes, we're good now. Okay, give me audio now. All right, we're going to do this bit one way or the other.
There we go. With the 31st pick in the draft, I got one of the trade cards.
Hey!
There are 2 trade cards, and I got one of them. The Chiefs send the 31st overall pick and the 63rd overall pick to Minnesota for the 24th pick and select Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon. There is a chance that the Chiefs have ended up with, outside of Mason Graham, the best defensive tackle in the draft with this move up. He is a complete piece. He's somebody who's going to help you against the run and against the pass right away. And the Chiefs clearly loved him and rated him above anybody else on their board at that position if they were willing to move up 7 spots and trade the second pick or the first pick of the 3rd round to go up and get Derek Harmon.
So it was 66 overall?
Yeah, it would be 66. That's
okay.
My mistake. Yeah. 366. Yeah.
I mean, you move a 3rd rounder to move up 7 spots to get a guy who has a very real chance to start week 1 as a rookie. Yeah, I'd be all for that. I'm totally in favor of a move like that. If you think Derek Harmon can be that kind of impact guy, and I personally do, I'm fine doing that. I think Minnesota would be a very willing trade partner as well. We mentioned this the other day. We've got 4 picks. I think they'd be thrilled to get an early 3rd to move 7 spots.
All right. Open your first card, Brendan.
All right. With my first potential 31st overall pick. All right, I'm not going to lie. I got the most boring option here. Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State. I think the vision, if the Chiefs go with Josh Simmons here, is pretty obvious. This is such a common mock draft pick right now. Some of the experts, the analysts have it as well. The idea is he's got to recover still from the injury. Maybe he's good to go by the start of training camp. Maybe it's not until around week 1 that he can really get back to football stuff. Probably not going to be a huge impact guy for you week 1. The Chiefs don't need him to be because you've still got Jawan Taylor at right tackle for another year before the whole world knows he's going to walk away. And you signed Jalen Moore for $15 million a year in free agency as well for the next 2 seasons to start at left tackle. So you can bring him along. You can essentially do a true redshirt year. I don't know that this is my favorite option for the Chiefs. I don't think it's the most fun one. But if you're talking about locking someone in long-term, you'll essentially get him for 4 years. You'll get him a redshirt year so he learns the playbook and get his strength back in his leg, coming back from the patellar tendon injury. And then you'll get him for 4 years on his rookie contract because you get the 5th-year option. So it's a pretty obvious reason why you would do it. Again, don't know that it's my favorite outcome, but the logic is pretty sound, all things considered.
Yeah, I think I can see the vision. It's a tough injury. There's some off-field concerns. You better be damn sure. That's the thing. And that's what that pick would tell me is that Brett Veach has done the vetting, and he is damn sure that Josh Simmons is a long-term answer, even with the injury, even with the concerns, that he's going to be a long-term guy in the NFL and for the Chiefs.
And like some guys have been able to come back from it. Nakobe Dean has turned into a pretty nice player at linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. Some guys,
he's also not 300 pounds, 300 plus pounds.
Yeah, some guys like Jimmy Graham are never the same. Victor Cruz just disappeared.
Spencer Dupuis, you've got 2 cards. Open up one of them and give me the pick.
With the 31st pick, the Kansas City Chiefs make a trade.
Oh.
They send this pick to the New York Giants for the 35th pick overall in the 2nd round and a 4th round pick, number 105 overall.
So they do not make a 1st round pick. Spencer, what would your reaction be if that were the scenario?
Nobody's there that they put in their 1st round draft board. So why not gather another pick just outside the top 100? And you're going to pick 4 spots behind where you were supposed to pick.
Yeah, I mean,
I like it.
Yeah, if there's nobody there who you are like dying to get, odds are you're still you're still going to be content 4 picks later, right? Yeah, you're going to get, Nolan might still be there. Maybe Ibuka is still there if he doesn't go a little bit earlier. Luther Burden could be on the board. One of the Ohio State running backs. I'm cool with either trade outcome, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty happy either way.
Yeah, I think trading down makes a lot of sense. Like if it's not one of my like 2 favorite players at 31 in the draft, and we haven't gotten to the second one yet or the first one yet, then I am a-okay trading back and adding more day 3 ammo.
And here's the thing too: if you add a 4th round pick, okay, so you're now picking 63rd overall end of the 2nd round and 35th overall right at the start of the 2nd round. Okay, you make pick 35, you get whoever. And then it's like pick 48. And man, Quinshon Judkins is the best running back on the board. And we really like Quinshon Judkins. We now can move up with our second round pick. And now we have a 4th to complete the deal. I think that's a very, very savvy way to move around the board. Very Brett Veach.
If I was the Giants with this pick,
Shador
or
Jalen Milroe.
Or you would get quarterback options. That's true. That's a good point. All right, Dan.
All righty. Next pick. With the 31st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Luther Burden, wide receiver, Mizzou.
Love it.
Love it. That's who I had mocked to.
Explosive playmaker, an addition as a long-term piece to grow and dominate with Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy and potentially Rashee Rice as well. There's a lot to like about this pick. I don't know that wide receiver is the most burning need for the 2025 Chiefs, but Patrick Mahomes go burr is a pretty good outcome of a pick. And I want to see the Chiefs get back to explosiveness on offense. They have not been explosive the last 2 years, and adding Burden would give them that element of home run ability that they've really lacked, in addition to having year 2 of Worthy and having Hollywood Brown back. So, it's not my favorite possible pick. I've said that as much, but it is absolutely one I could get behind.
You're going to have a much more vertical offense if you add Luther Burden, because then you've got long-term, and with Hollywood this year, that's obviously true as well. But long-term, you've got Xavier Worthy and Luther Burden in years 1 and 2 of first-year contracts, or of rookie contracts.
First-round contracts.
Yeah, that's
fifth-year options.
That's significant. That is an offense that can attack deep, that can do it a lot. I would love it. And the Chiefs are not a team that's going to be scared by alleged character concerns. And I don't think it's anything like serious off the field. I think it's an effort question with Luther Burden, based on my understanding.
Next pick, Brendan, you've got the card.
All right, with our next pick. How did I end up with the two that we've talked about the most often of any possible scenarios? Walter Nolan, defensive tackle from Ole Miss. Again, I think the logic here is very sound. You want a running mate next to Chris Jones.
Yep.
You want to have more pass rush juice, period. And if you're talking about Nolan possibly as the guy who at some point replaces Chris Jones as your number one interior pass rusher, well, you want to have a guy who can go and get after the quarterback. And Nolan certainly has that. There are some concerns out there about just how he fits in everywhere. Is he maybe only a one-gap guy? Is he a little bit limited? This is like the perfect kind of guy to take at the end of the first round, because you can give him a little bit of extra time to develop. I mean, he's still probably starting week 1 as a rookie, or rotating in anyway, but you have a little bit of extra time to get him up to speed, to diversify that skill set, to maybe get any effort questions worked out. This is the kind of high ceiling player that I think makes a lot of sense at the end of the first round, knowing you get that 5th-year option.
I'd rather get the pass rusher with some work to do against the run than the one tech, the run stuffer with some work to do to be a third down presence. That's my personal preference, how I'd build a team. May not be Brett Veach's. We'll see. All right, last card, Spencer.
With the 31st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Travion Henderson, running back, Ohio State. I love it.
I kind of love it, too.
I love it.
I kind of love it, too.
I think on the show before I've been vocal, I'm not that big of a fan of Isaiah Pacheco, at least going forward. And I think this is huge for them.
They need more in the running game. They need to have
too one-dimensional.
They need to have a little bit more burst. I know that it feels like a luxury, and I can understand if you're a Chiefs fan and you say, oh, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not work out. I don't want to do this again. I get it. Edwards-Helaire, though, never turned into the player that everyone thought he was going to be, like this super receiving threat who could also have some wiggle in the backfield.
Yeah.
He just never was that player. I don't think there's any question about what kind of player Travion Henderson is. I think, again, a little bit of a luxury, yes. A little bit early, yes. But you're getting legit talent. And I think a guy who can be no worse than RB2 right away. He's a long-term starting option. I'd be cool with it. I would give this one my stamp of approval.
Yeah, I think that as much as I don't love the idea, I mean, because you make the immediate comparison to, it's just last time they did this was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and it didn't really work out. But they do. They need out of the backfield. And AFC title winner last year, but like juice, explosiveness, you don't get that from him. It's fair to wonder about what kind of juice you're going to get from Pacheco and Elijah Mitchell, frankly, who was added. If you're looking for juice, Travion's got some juice, and you saw it in the Big Ten. I could get behind it. It's not my favorite of the picks here, but I could certainly get behind the idea.
What's your least favorite outcome of the 6?
Least favorite outcome?
Yeah. Because I can talk myself into every one of these.
Yeah, I'm good. I honestly would be good with all of them. I don't love trading up.
No.
Simmons is my least favorite, but I've made that clear. But I don't love trading up.
Yeah, I would probably put those as my.
Maybe if you move up 3 spots and it's your 4th round pick.
Yeah, no, that's fair. A smaller jump. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams would be interested in trading back. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like if you think Harmon is that dude, I think Veach has earned the benefit of the doubt. If you think that dude is a 10-year starter, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the logic behind it. I would say Simmons would be my least favorite, though. And not that he's a bad player. Again, I get the logic, but I think you can hit. I think that's like aiming for doubles. I think you have a chance at a home run with a couple of these picks.
We'll take a break, come back, and talk a little Royals baseball. We're about ready to hand things off. Hopefully they stay dry at the K tonight. We'll talk some ball when we come back on 580 Sports Talk. Coming up in 13 minutes on 580 WIBW FM 104.9, we'll hand the baton to the Royals Baseball Network. Game 2 of their 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies. 6:40 scheduled first pitch at the K's. The Royals try to make it 3 straight wins. They send Michael Lorenzen to the mound. Lorenzen has been super as a Royal since coming over in that trade last year with Texas. Lorenzen in 11 games, 10 starts with the Royals, a 2.86 earned run average, and 39 strikeouts to 19 walks in 50 1/3 innings. Pitching well to start this year, though he does lead the American League with 4 wild pitches. That's a number he'd like to tamp down, I'm sure. He will be facing a fellow former All-Star, German Marquez, for the Rockies, who is making a return this year from 2 lost seasons, 2023 and 2024. It was a Tommy John surgery early in 23. struggled to make it back for 2024, made just one start last year. He was an all-star in 2021, then he stopped striking guys out, probably because every Rockies pitcher eventually stopped striking guys out. He has an 8.27 earned run average and has given up 22 hits and 17 runs, 15 of them earned in his first 16 and a third innings this year. I loved German Marquez once, and he broke my heart. Let that be a lesson to you.
Now I hate him.
Never loved. People ask me, and I tell them, like, dumping on the Rockies a lot. Like, you follow me on Blue Sky, it's just constant stream of invective directed at the Rockies by yours truly. And I tell people, I hate them so much because I love them so much.
No, that's real. That's real. I don't have a lot of good things to say about the Bulls. They're my favorite team, but I don't have a lot of good things to say about them.
So, again, on paper, pitching matchup that should favor the Royals, and they will send out the following lineup tonight with no Jonathan India getting the day off. So it'll be Michael Garcia in the leadoff spot at third base tonight, followed by Bobby Witt Jr. at short, Vinny Pasquantino at first, and Salvador Perez DHing tonight. Kevin Biggio batting fifth at second base. Hunter Renfroe batting sixth in right field. That's a lot of at-bats for those guys. Drew Waters, hero last night, bats seventh. He was in left field tonight. Freddie Fermin, the other hero at the plate from last night, the game winner. He'll catch tonight and bat eighth, and then Kyle Isbell bats ninth in center field. Rockies get their best player back from the bereavement list today. Brendan Doyle will start in center field and lead things off. His wife suffered a miscarriage last week.
Tragic.
So awful news for the Doyle family, and wish them all the best. But he's back after spending a couple of days on the bereavement list, and he'll play center field and lead off. Mickey Moniak is in right field. Hunter Goodman will catch. Ryan McMahon bats cleanup at third base. Michael Tolley at first base. Nick Martini, former K-State Wildcat, is DHing and batting sixth. Jordan Beck in left field bats seventh. Adael Amador is the second baseman batting eighth. And Aaron Schunk at shortstop. Not a like pretty name.
No.
Schunk.
No, not pretty at all. Your strikeout total tonight, we're going to use DraftKings because the one at FanDuel is juiced like crazy. 5.5 is the line for Michael Lorenzen tonight. That's your even money line is 6+, so over 5.5. You like that?
The Rockies were really aggressive against Bubich last night. A lot of early swings.
Mm-hmm.
That might be new. That might be an edict from their new hitting coach, Clint Hurdles. Try to be aggressive, hit some first pitch strikes, hit some early strikes.
At least put the ball in play.
I'll hold on Lorenzen's K number. I'll be all in on Reagan's tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, it's a fun pitching matchup, at least on paper, because you've got Cole Reagans going for the Royals tomorrow and perhaps going for a sweep. And on the Rockies side, you have one of their brightest young pitching prospects in many years, Chase Dolander, who came out of Tennessee, was number 9 overall pick in the draft 3 years ago, and is making his 5th major league start. There's been some good and some bad, which you'd expect from any young pitcher, even a highly touted one making his debut in a Rockies uniform. But Dolander's got a big arm. He can touch 100 with his fastball. We know Reagan's has a big fastball as well. You're going to be throwing some heat on Thursday at the K, and I'm going to be there.
I'm very excited. That's going to be a lot of fun coming up tomorrow. I love watching Cole Reagan's pitch, man. He's such a blast.
Interesting data. I think it was Baseball Prospectus that had this. His arm slot is down this year. He's throwing a little less over the top. He's brought his arm slot down a little more 3/4.
Interesting.
This year, but that's part of a league-wide trend. The league is trending towards lower arm slots.
Interesting.
And I don't know if that's for health related, like they've done research and that's healthier to do. I don't know, honestly. But yeah, it's a league-wide trend that pitchers are dropping their arm slots. Not like all the way down. Nobody's throwing like Dan Quisenberry anymore, right? Mm-hmm. It's just the Rogers guy from the Giants, Tyler Rogers. Does that. Yeah. Nobody's dropping that low, but you got a lot of 3/4 in the game these days.
Hate facing Tyler Rogers on MLB The Show.
Yeah.
Hate it.
It's not fun, is it?
No.
Him and his twin brother Taylor. They're Colorado kids. Went to Sheffield.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
Yeah, Littleton, Colorado. We'll take a timeout. Come back. Wrap up this edition of 580 Sports Talk. But first, a word from my friends at Great Life Topeka. It's raining right now. That doesn't make you think of golf weather, but it's great for golf courses as long as the hail doesn't tear them up. Rain is great for golf courses, and there are 5 outstanding golf courses that are part of the Great Life family. And if you are a Great Life Play Everything or all-inclusive member, you get the chance to play a lot of golf as part of your monthly membership. Go to greatlifetopeka.com for more details. Also, Folks, there is a seminar coming to town Tuesday, April 29th. SME Live, Sales and Marketing Executives. Tuesday, April 29th at the Topeka Civic Theater, starting at 8 a.m. for breakfast and a dynamic half-day session with Mike Eichten and Joel Schwarzberg, the keynote speaker, author of Get to the Point. You'll learn to craft unique, succinct, impactful messages for speeches, sales, and everyday interactions. SME Live, Tuesday, April 29th at the Topeka Civic Theater. I've got 2 tickets for that seminar. If you want to go to the Sales and Marketing Executive Seminar next Tuesday at Topeka Civic Theater, be the first caller right now. I'll give it to the fastest fingers, 785-272-9429. 785-272-9429. Back after this with the final word. You heard the man. Time for a final word. Brendan Dorzinski, what you got?
I would like to offer condolences to the family of Steve Mongo McMichael, who it was reported earlier today he was planning to enter hospice and unfortunately did not make it to this evening. Mongo passed away, star of WCW Nitro, of course, NFL Hall of Famer as well. Great personality, great football player. May he rest in peace.
Threatened to beat up Angel Hernandez once from the booth at Wrigley Field after doing the 7th inning stretch.
And for that, he is the hero to us all.
Final word, Spencer Dupuis.
Yeah, I don't know if I know you guys watched a little bit of the Royals last night, but it didn't feel like I didn't get a chance to talk about the game earlier. I was not in the first segment of the show. That felt like I don't know. I felt like it was like torture because it was not fun to watch.
An unpleasant game.
Yes. That's what I got to say about that.
Unpleasant until Freddie for me made it pleasant for the Royals. Final word for me today, since I'm only going to be partially on the program tomorrow, recapping the Royals game. I will say this. I am in love with the idea of the Chiefs taking Walter Nolan at number 31. And I'm worried about all the mock drafts that all of a sudden have him as high as number 11, that he might not get down to number 31. But I think that is the next Chris Jones. I think that is as close to the next Chris Jones as you're going to find in this draft. And I think the Chiefs need interior pocket disruption. That's why he's my favorite of the possible picks for the Chiefs in tomorrow night's NFL draft. We're back tomorrow following Royals baseball until 6. For Brendan and Spencer, I'm Dan. It's 580 Sports Talk. Good night.